So, Vampire the Masquerade, Chicago 2000, episode number 62. Sans Simon. So his storyline is being put off indefinitely whilst we return to Absynth and Co. At present, yes?
Yes.
So, Absynth, you have probably spent the day working for the Chicago PD, I imagine.
Yep. While I'm there, I'm going to try and sneak out some extras.
Extras like what? What does that mean?
Like, I want something that can paralyze someone.
Something that can paralyze someone.
Yeah.
Well, you can make a investigation, and I guess what's an investigation? Are we V5 here?
V5, yeah.
Okay, so I guess it's something else. Let's have a look at
What
your.
am I doing exactly?
Let me have a look.
Okay.
Let's have a look. See here at your
Probably put
character
away.
sheet. Cool. So it would be wits and probably
Science?
could be wits and science, but okay. So first of all, let's make a wits and science roll to see if you can find something that's vaguely like that.
Okay. So I have one on each.
One on each. Okay.
It doesn't really matter. I'm a human. Hunger doesn't matter.
Right. So two successes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you find something that's. I mean, you want paralysis or sedation. I mean, they're kind of the same thing, from what I'm seeing.
Paralysis.
Mhm.
If I have to make my own, I will. I have craft, so.
A paralytic medication is a neuromuscular blocking agent, a powerful muscle relaxant used to prevent muscle movement during surgical procedures or critical care. Common paralytics include atracurium, cisatracurium, mevacurium, and a lot of words that end with curium, and some others, which I'm not going to go. How long is it used for? Administered for the duration of surgery, can last less than half an hour up to several hours, depending on the procedure. How long does it take to wear off? Can take several minutes to an hour to be able to move again after the drugs are stopped or reversed. Because these are short-acting medications, you will be monitored as you recover from all of the medication. Okay, so you can find some. But the thing is, this is not a hospital. This is a toxicology lab used by the police for investigation. So they don't probably keep like stores of it. They're more interested in having the ability to test for it.
Yeah.
So that's the first hurdle, is that you discover that you know how to find them in a person's body, but you can't get access to the actual drug itself. That's something you'd have to get from a hospital. But you do know that Chase has. Oh no, you don't know Chase. You don't know.
No, don't know him.
Lies.
Is there? What about poisons that will kill people?
Well, similarly, it's all about testing. That, I mean, it's not like the cops use these things, so they don't keep them.
Just need to know. Just need to know.
If you want to, I mean, okay. So let's say you're in the laboratory and you're there with a couple of the clinicians and technicians and what have you. Did we give them names?
No.
No. Okay. Well, let's do that then. Where's my Chicago PD tab? Here we go. So the guy that you spoke to was. What do we say his name was? Got a list of cops here. Eric Lazard, I think. That sound right?
That name sounds very familiar.
Sounds familiar? Okay,
Yeah.
so Eric Lazard, he'd be the guy that hired you inadvertently under the command of your dear friend Garwood Marshall, right?
Oh, there's one thing I wanted to ask as well.
Yep.
With V5, instead of getting opponents when you become a ghoul, you get one of the disciplines of the dometer, not dometer.
Right.
Is it dometer? Yeah. And it's one of the ones that they have the most of. So
Right.
Brennan's my dometer at the moment.
Right.
So it's probably
Brennan.
Probably dominate.
Okay. It quite likely is dominate or fortitude, but dominate seems to be most likely. Let me find his. Why is that?
Is that Barry?
Yeah. Barry, are you there?
Yeah. There he is.
There he is.
That's my boy.
Video and everything.
my son.
Yes, Mum. Don't worry, Mum. Yeah.
It's my Chicago book gone. I've moved all my folders around and now everything's vanished. Oh, what a pain in the ass. Okay, well, let's say dominate for now.
Okay, yeah.
So you have one level in dominate, which is what, command, right?
That or you either say one word or you say forget. There's two options.
Okay, well, which one?
Forget. For sure. Like the other one's kind of useless.
I don't know about that, but yep, okay, sure. Forget what erases like the last couple of minutes. All right.
Yeah, I think it's like 5 or something.
All right, fair enough.
Yes. So yeah, you can be aware of that with your with the goals that we have. I suppose like Zora will have a level of protein.
Yep.
Jimmy, well, whatever case this is.
Yep. Makes sense. Why the fuck can I not find my freaking books? Okay, never mind. Okay, so so you have a level of dominate. Excellent. All right. Well, you're in the lab right now. It's the middle of the day, and you're researching these various things that you're most interested in. And there's a couple of technicians with you. One of them's name is Foster.
Foster. Okay.
And Foster's been here for a while, and after we can say you've been working here for a couple of days now, if you like. Foster seems to be the one that is the most helpful towards you so far. Okay, and anyway, he's busy doing an experiment right now, testing some chemicals whilst you're in the lab. And do you have any questions for Foster?
Sure. So
Foster Gomez.
right. Is there like an area in this lab that has like other chemicals and stuff?
He looks at you. He's like, what do you mean by other chemicals and stuff? What does that mean?
I guess, what if we come across something that isn't able to be traced? I'd like to make a comparative sample.
Oh, you would you? So you've been here for 3 days and you would like to make a comparative sample of some chemicals that can't be traced. Wow, that's very interesting. He looks back over his shoulder at you from
I look
the
seriously.
microscope that he's looking into. He looks back at you. He's like, and you got any particular chemicals that you're trying to trace here? I suppose you can't trace them, so you don't know, do you? So look, he stands up and backs off from the microscope. He turns to you. He says, in the event that we find well, you can't find a chemical that you can't trace, can you?
Well, of course you can. Oh, potentially.
Potentially. Or do explain.
Well, I mean,
Tell me how you would go about this.
I will use my science degree to.
Do you have an example of what you're talking about?
I will use my science degree to go over things I have researched in the past.
I see. All right, so you can make an intelligence and science check,
Excellent.
and then you can tell me out of game what you're trying to achieve. And
I just want to know if there are extra chemicals,
what do
so we can compare, just in case we come across something that we don't understand. I'm trying to be sneaky, okay?
what do they call it?
Allow me to be sneaky. 3.
3 successes. Okay.
Yeah.
What do they call those things? CDB, CDC. That's it. CDC. Right. He says, well, a lot of the stuff that we get like that, we would send it down to the CDC, which is the Center for Disease Control.
Right.
Especially if it's some kind of organic mixture. If it's something else, we do have a number of, I suppose, medicines and drugs that we can. We have samples of things, but only enough that we can use them for testing and comparison.
Excellent.
Right.
Whereabouts is that?
He says, well, that's outside your pay grade right now.
Yeah,
Intern.
probably. Okay, I'm working on making my way up, okay?
Yeah.
I just want to know what everything is.
We stuck this out for 3 days now. I'm really impressed. When you've been here for 5 years, perhaps we'll be talking.
Okay, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll go back to doing whatever it was I was doing.
Right, sorting out pallets and cleaning slides.
Yes. So mundane.
It's very tedious and mundane, but hey.
I'm keeping my eye out for anything, though.
Welcome to America, where you have to have a master's degree to get a job that anyone can do.
Don't I have a degree? Sure, I'm sure it's under a coffee table somewhere, just propping it up.
Right. Okay. Well, you finish your day at the Chicago PD Toxicology Department. And you're learning your way around. You're learning a few things. You're learning who's who more than anything, and you're learning where the most basic things are and what they keep, what kind of resources they have. The first thing that might shock you is that their resources are actually really limited, and they don't actually have that much. What you will also find out is if once it gets to a particular level of things like poison and shit it gets involved, they often bring in the FBI at that point, and it becomes more of a federal situation rather than a local police situation.
Okay, I'm keeping an eye and an interest in all of this.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, you can have 2 experience points towards law.
Ooh. Okay. That's not a thing. Politics?
They don't have law anymore?
No.
You're fucking kidding me.
Finance? What am I putting it to?
Let's have a look at this character sheet. What the hell is wrong?
I'm sure law is like a something, a specialty.
Subcategory of something. maybe investigation.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'd be good. I'll take it. Thanks. Thank you.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. We could also add it as a new skill altogether.
I'd prefer not doing that. They have
That's
they have specialties.
yeah. Well, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe a specialty in law then.
Hmm.
As
Now, where is that? Well, I'll have a look as to where that is right now.
it should
You
be
want to keep
law. It
going?
should be law and science. Basically, it should be a subspecialty of science in this case, which is a bit weird. It should be the other way around. But what can you do when they brutalize the character sheet? Okay, Barry. You're being Peter Wicks, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I've been convinced that the whole business of sending you off to LA is a bad idea right now because there's other things going on, and the fact that our dear friend here doesn't want to go to Chicago, doesn't want to leave Chicago, so there's not much I can do about that except make a new character, which
It's such a long way to go. You got to take a plane, then you got to take, then you got to meet people, and it's such a.
I know.
Yeah.
And she reckoned it would be boring.
Boring.
Less boring than more boring than a toxicology lab anyway, apparently. So, hey, what are you going to do?
Who am I to argue with wisdom?
So, Peter Wicks, you get up that evening and you go through your various reports and things, and, the usual stuff happening.
I'll send my usual reports to the normal
Yeah, you would have
people
done
that
that before you went to bed. Now it's time to receive reports.
What do they want now?
Well, there's just the usual stuff. There's going to be a Primogen Council meeting this evening.
Yay.
The Wolf Pack are in town.
Yay.
Apparently, the prince is becoming suspicious of this new Archon, Vincent Meyer. Thusly, the prince has requested from the Nosferatu through Khalid, in fact, that the Nosferatu are to spy on him and obtain information about what he's up to.
If I could only speak.
Right.
Oh, I can. Yeah.
You can.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, is there anything in particular that you would want to know about, or you would want to receive a report about from the Nosferatu?
All right. Actually, he's been thinking about what Elzbieta said about getting retainers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna look for a guy who had a brilliant idea to do with computers.
Okay.
And was about to pull it off, but his associates, his partners, ripped him off.
So you're looking for someone who's been screwed over by their business partners, and in the computer industry particularly.
Yeah.
Any particular field within the computer industry? We're talking about, hardware, software, encryption, the internet, mini computers, macro computers.
The internet.
The internet, the burgeoning internet. Okay, fair enough.
Yes.
All right, so you're doing that. So Absynth, you finish up at work and you go home, and then the sun is setting at this point. You probably get some food on the way home. Your new boss, what did I say his name was?
Brennan? New for the police.
Detective
the
Eric Lazard. Inspector Lazard. He pulls you aside just before you leave, actually, and
Sure.
he says, Absynth, I want to talk to you.
I'm here to talk.
Okay, well, look, you've been here for a couple of days now, and we're getting pretty good reports. So you ask a lot of questions, but apart from that, everybody seems pretty happy with you, so I'm happy to keep you on for a while. Now, the problem right now is that we don't really have a budget for this kind of thing. So, as you know, you're on a kind of a internship, which means that you're working for free. However, I mean, I'm looking at you and I'm thinking, well, you're a young lady. You probably don't have a lot. You got enough money to get home?
I'll be fine. I
Okay.
have another job at night. So.
Okay. So you're not looking for a bit of spare change for the bus and get yourself a fajita or something on the way?
I think I'll be fine, but thank you for your concern.
Okay. I just want to make sure everything's okay. All right. Well, you have a good night then.
You too. Whoosh.
All right. He seems reasonably. You think he's genuinely concerned? He's not like he's not being creepy or anything. He's just gives a shit because you're a new person and you're fairly young and so on. Okay.
What
Very
a
good.
nice
then.
guy.
Russell,
Yes.
do you remember Wise Guy?
Only in the no, I can't say I do. I remember the name.
Oh, what a pity, because there was an actual disabled actor in it.
Okay.
And he was on the TV series of, oh, never mind. Anyway, I want him to be like him. He was in a wheelchair, you see,
Okay.
and he did their technical stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So there's a couple of things that you're looking for then. All right.
Yeah, and he was on Highlander, the TV series.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Well, we'll have a think about that. In the meantime, Peter, you're doing some research looking for people like this. How do you go about this, by the way?
I actually use word on the street.
Okay, well, people on the street don't know
Go
so
to
much about computer geniuses. What word
no,
on the
but they
street?
can
Who do you ask? Who do you approach? How do you go
I
about it?
go to what do you call them? Cafes.
Cafes?
You
Okay,
know,
well,
computer cafes.
okay. Well,
Is
there's
that
a
what
lot of
they call
people.
them?
Yeah, the internet cafes exist in 2000.
Yeah. I go to those.
All right. Well, in the internet cafes, you're going to see a lot of people and a lot of tourists, a lot of people playing video games, a lot of people sending emails to their mothers.
Okay.
And it's looking around, it's very hard to see who is, for anyone here is a computer genius. The most, probably the most technically proficient people are the people running the cafes. And if they were all of that much of a genius, they wouldn't be running cafes, they'd be running tech firms.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I mean,
I
you can go to
haven't.
someone for some advice. Why don't you, have you considered that?
I'll do that then.
Okay, who do you want to go to?
There must be at university a study on
Oh,
computers.
oh, fuck, yes, there is. There's whole departments
Well,
of computer science and
I'll go
technology.
to a computer science genius, tell them what I'm looking for, and so forth and so on.
Okay, so and the other thing I can say off the bat is that the person that you know that is the most tech savvy person that you've ever met is Bobby Weatherbottom, Ventrue and Childer of Loden.
But he can't be my child.
He absolutely cannot. But what he can is
Elzbieta, sort of, I got the idea that she wanted to find my own little group of.
absolutely. But what he
Yeah.
can do is point you in a direction.
Okay. All right. I'll go for that then. I'll go to Bobby Weatherbottom.
Okay. Do you go directly to him or do you go through?
I will phone him up first.
All right. So you call his number, and you can hear the tapping of keys. And this is Mr. Weatherbottom. How can I help you?
This is Peter Wicks.
Peter Wicks. Well. I was not expecting a call from you today. In fact, I was never expecting a call from you at all. But here we are. How can I help?
Wow. I've got a question for you. I want a tech-savvy person
I
and
see.
I want them to know how to use computers.
Well, I can certainly find you somebody. We can look at our human resources department. We have a whole stack of resumes and people that are highly qualified in the tech industry. People from Yale, Harvard, around the world have been applying through us.
Here's the kick.
Mhm.
I want them to be disabled.
Is that some kind of, I mean, okay. A lot of these resumes don't really tell us this kind of thing.
It's a quirk.
I see. Quirk. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll pass this information on to one of my people and see if I can get the human resources department to find you someone specifically like this. If
And
that's what
Bobby,
yeah,
I'd like him to be as good as you.
no chance of that.
Try.
If
I'd
someone was
appreciate
that
it.
good, Mr. Wicks, you can bet your ass I would have hired them by now.
Okay, I see your point. But give it your best effort. Like you always do.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, we will, of course, be charging our usual rates for this type of human resources management. And you will be paying in cash, check, or boons.
I'll pay in cash.
I
How
see.
much are we talking?
Well, it depends on the outcome of our search, really. But we can say that for to get things rolling, we'll be looking at a sort of usually it's 15% of a yearly salary of the individual, and the salaries for the kind of people that you're talking about are about 300,000 per year. So we're looking at about 50,000 US dollars to get things going.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What would you be looking at in a boon then?
Wow, that would be different. It would have to be something reasonable. It would have to be some timely and useful information, perhaps a certain situation whereupon you might be putting something into somebody's location that might be able to tap into their, their internet, their computers, something like that. Key loggers, planting some sort of cameras or bugs, devices, things like that.
I don't see why I couldn't do that
Possibly
for you.
stealing information, that sort of thing. Corporate espionage, you might say.
All right.
The other
Yeah.
option is that you can assist me with another matter, but we would have to talk about that in person.
All right. You name the place.
Oh, do I? Which place?
Yes.
My
I'll meet
office
you
is
there.
usually where I meet people.
Mm-hmm.
There is a cafe down next to the Chicago River that I have met a few people at from time to time.
I'll meet you there. What's the name of the cafe?
Oh, it's the River Cafe, in fact.
The River Cafe.
And I can meet you there at approximately 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. All right.
We'll see you then.
See you then.
Good night, Mr. Wakes. Click. Okay, so Abigail.
That's her name technically.
That's her name technically. Absent.
Absynth is going to. Sorry, I am going to go to a couple of places before I head home. Do I have a shift tonight?
Do you have a shift tonight? Roll me a d6, and if you get a 5 or a 6, you do not have a shift.
I don't have a dice.
I'll roll you a d10.
Can I do a D10? I've got a D10.
Yep. Okay. Roll a d10,
Well, it doesn't have any numbers on it, so
8, 9, and 10 is a reroll.
okay.
And you work 5 days a week there, I would expect. So
Okay. You know, I'm gonna let you roll.
let
That's
me
fine.
roll. All
Yep.
right. Do you have a shift tonight? You do not have a shift tonight.
Okay, good. Well, I'm going to go home. I'm going to pick up some. No, I'm not going to go home first. I'm gonna go to a church. I'm going to pick up some holy water. I'm going to go to. I'm going to go to a pharmacy, and I'm going to go pick up some things that I can see have like chemicals to make a lotion that smells great but tastes horrible. So I'm just gonna go try and pick up those things,
Okay.
go home and do some testing.
All right. Can you make a wits and science check for us?
Okay.
Never had so many science rolls.
2. It's a
Okay.
lot.
You are somewhat successful in this operation.
I'll
There's
taste it.
a couple of ingredients you reckon might improve it, but for now, it's the smell is almost right and the taste is bad.
Okay, good. Okay, well, I'm going to store this in a container where I know it's going to keep. Might be in the fridge.
Yeah.
And I'll wear it next time I go to a shift at the Succubus Club.
Okay.
It's so that
People don't want to drink out for you.
yeah, and they learn their lesson, I suppose. Right. Or they're like, oh, this is so bad. Maybe not. Maybe I'll take a pass.
It's designed to dissuade vampires from feeding off of you.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like I'm still the Ghoul of Brennan, so I want to do my job. I want to do it well. Being dead is a bad way of doing my job. Right. I will ring up Garwood.
Garwood answers the phone. Well, if it isn't Absynth, how are you doing tonight? How's things going down at the PD?
Oh, it's going well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Treating you okay down there?
They are. It's not a paid job, but that's okay.
That's okay, because I paid you already.
That's true. I'm gonna meet up with my ex.
Oh, yeah. So,
and you said you wanted to talk to him.
We sure did. When I say we, I'm talking about my friend Peter Wicks and I.
I got that.
Right. So when are you going to do this?
Tonight.
Oh, yeah? And you need a lift?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like a lift. Thank you.
All right. Well, what time's it good for you?
I'll get back to you once I arrange it with him.
Okay. Well, you do that, and I'll be standing by, waiting for your call. You can always send me a text too if you want.
I'll send you a text probably.
You have a cell phone, don't you?
I do.
Right. Good. Well, I'll be looking forward to that. Give us a call. I'll see you later.
See you later. And I will start a text message back to Vern, my ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
Because I don't really want to call him.
Right.
I'll just ask him to meet somewhere.
Yes. Where would you like to meet?
Now I'm going to come up with a place that is public. The only place I can think of is a Succubus Club.
Well, there's malls, there's gardens, there's docks, there's parks, there's McDonald's, there's Denny's, there's car parks, parking lots.
It's true.
Succubus Club, the Cave. You've been to the Cave, I think, haven't you? Oh no, you haven't been to the Cave.
I think I'll go with the garden.
Okay, a garden.
Yeah, a public garden.
A public garden. All right. Well, there's a few down next to the lake.
Oh, beautiful.
And there's right behind the there's a place called the Cloud Gate, which is in Maggie Daly Park. There's also Butler Field, which is right behind the Chicago Art Institute, is Butler Field. But the Cloud Gate is actually more recognizable.
Okay, we'll go with the Cloud Gate.
Okay, and there's like an ice skating ring there and such. And there's this thing they call the jelly bean. It's this big mirror. It's a big jelly bean. It's a mirror on the outside. Have you seen pictures of it?
Yeah.
Okay, so you head into the Cloud Gate. Okay, what time are you?
I send a message to Garwood as well.
Okay, all
And
right. Garwood calls. Well, hang on. Should we say what time that's going to be? Because your ex is going to want to do it sooner than later because he's a human and he doesn't want
yeah,
to stay up till 3 in the morning. So he suggests he can be there at just after 9 when he's finished. You know what he's got to do today. He doesn't tell you what he's doing, but he's kind of guarded about that. And his name's Vern, right?
yeah.
Okay. All right. Do you have any other details on Vern that I should know?
He's an asshole who
Okay.
has hurt her like a few times.
Okay.
Who is kind of possessive of her.
Right.
And he's a stalker.
He's a stalker.
Yeah, I'm sure there are some redeeming qualities there that you can come up with.
Right. Well, I guess he will have suggested that we meet at your new place.
And my character's like, no, we'll meet in somewhere public.
Okay. So
By the
finally,
mirror bean, whatever the fuck it is.
Millennial Park Ice Rink Cloud Gate. Yeah, cool.
Yep.
All right. So he offers to meet you at 9:15. All right. So at that point, you've messaged Garwood back about that.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Wicks, you get a phone call.
Hello?
Mr. Wicks, it's
Yes.
Garwood Marshall here. How you doing?
Hearing your voice, all the better.
I'm sure you already knew that because no doubt you've got my number saved on your telephone. Do you recall the other night we met with that most intriguing human at the Succubus Club? What was her name? Absynth.
That's right.
I got her a job with the Chicago PD, doing some sort of toxicology shit. Anyhow, she's gonna go and meet her ex-boyfriend tonight.
Really?
I know that you, similarly to me, have interest in such a meeting. I thought maybe, just in case this is some kind of elaborate ruse from the Sabbat, who knows? It could be. She might be a plant or something. I don't know.
Well, I feel it's only my
I'm a
duty
plant.
as
I
an
thought I'd
I'm a
enforcer of the
tree.
city
bring
to
you
make
into
sure
this.
she's safe.
Well, I don't know whether that's required or not, but anyway, I thought it would be interesting to pull you along for this little gig. We're meeting at the Cloud Gate at 9:15.
I'll meet you there.
Very well. Very well. I won't see you.
No, you won't.
All right. Well, if I do so happen to see you, do you want to tell me something particularly about what you're wearing or something, whether it's like a tie pin or something like that I should watch out for?
Yeah, actually, it's funny, Russell, because I was thinking of that today.
Oh, yeah?
Well, it's easy. I'll wear a bat tie pin.
A bat tie pin.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's weird, but okay, fine. I'll see you there.
Right.
Over and out.
Over and out.
Clickety click, click. Okay, so you go about your businesses, as it were, doing your things, getting ready for going out and so on. And you may or may not travel by public transport. I'm imagining Peter Wicks does. He heads in by subway and
Yep.
comes out just half a block away and
Yep.
wanders up. And you see all the people milling about, a lot of people getting ready to go home, people getting on trains to go home, the elevated train system, the L as they call it, going up and down the stairs from there. And other people coming out for dinner and going to the movies and going to the theater and all that type of stuff. People dressed up. And they smell delicious, many of them. And you wander out into this big, wide, concrete park, basically, that is just back from the water. You can see the boats out on the lake.
I would have looked for a. I would have done my Sandman thing before I came here.
Okay.
In case, you know.
Okay, so you're
Okay.
full. You're
Yeah.
not hungry at the moment. You have one level of hunger, which is the minimum.
Okay.
Because a vampire is always hungry in V5. Um, okay, so you head over there, and do you think Absence is going to be on time, early, late?
I'm with Garwood, so
All right, Garwood's
he
picking
was
you
gonna
up.
pick me up. Yeah.
Okay, so he picks you up quarter of an hour before there and drives you in, and he pulls up to a parking spot.
Wait,
Um,
Garwood. What happens if he gets violent with you?
Don't worry about that. He's not going to get violent with anybody. I mean, this guy is what he said. He's a stalker. Has he got a history of violence?
Kinda.
Well, I'm going to show you exactly what's going to happen. Watch this. And there's this person getting out of a car that's just cut him off, and they've parked in front of him in the one car park that is on the street next to the park. And he stops the car next to this person's car as they're getting out. He walks over to them. He goes, "I need you to move your car. I need you to piss off." This guy's like, "Oh, fuck off, man. I just parked here, man. You go and get your own car park." He's like, "No, no, no. Move your car away from here now." And the guy looks at him and looks at his car, and he takes out his keys and he gets back in his car and he moves out of the car park and he drives off. And Garwood gets back in the car that you're in and parks in that spot.
Wow, that guy was really weird.
Wasn't he just? Real weird. Real weird.
Like at first he was really angry at you, and then you just told him to move and he did. What did you do? Did you do anything?
I did. I did. Now, the thing is, Absinthe, as you are probably aware by now, I think we've talked about this once or twice, I'm a vampire.
Yeah, I'm still learning about what that means.
There are times when I love my job.
What that means is that some of us, me in particular, have the ability to tell people to do things and they will immediately do them. It's more complex than that, but that's all you need to know right now. Who knows? Your Domitor is one Brenham Thornhill right now, and it's possible that you have these powers yourself. Who knows? You've got the blood in you.
That's true.
Right?
Right.
So, anyhow, thing is, what's going to happen is I'm going to be just sitting at a park bench nearby, listening to everything from, a few meters away. And you are going to meet your friend, and if anything goes AWOL, you're going to give me a signal.
Okay. Right.
Now, I mean, look, as you're getting out of the car and you start walking, can you see him at this point? Make a perception or a wits and awareness check, please.
What's an awareness?
Wits and awareness.
No, I can't see him.
Okay. All right. This guy usually get places on time?
No, but I think he would if it involved me.
Right. So you're probably expecting he's going to be here pretty much on time tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's the jelly bean. I'm just going to go over and stand there, and we can stand and look in the mirror, in the reflection.
Okay.
Go over to it. So, right now I'm kind of looking out behind us in the mirror, see if anybody approaches. Feel free to look around.
I'm gonna text Garwood and say I'm here.
Okay. He he looks at his phone and lifts it over his head and shakes it and nods. Okay, well, a few minutes go past, and do you want to describe what Vern looks like at all? Or am I making up everything?
You can make it up.
Right, so he's short and fat. He's got red hair, massive dreadlocks.
Wow.
No,
Gotta give me some credit.
give you some credit.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All
You
right.
can give him red hair though.
Okay, he's got red hair. He's tall. He's got a beard now. It's a bit scraggly. How old do you think he is?
I'd say mid to late 20s.
Mid to late 20s. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's say he's 27. Is he studying anything in particular? Is he studied? Is he working?
I kind of imagine him in some like manual labor job, like a forklift worker, dock worker,
All right.
something.
All right. Well, he you see him approaching, and he's tall and gangly, and he's made some effort to put some half decent clothes on, but he still looks a bit underdressed, as it were.
I imagine with tattoos as well, like he
Right.
is potentially a hipster.
Okay. A little bit
You
of a
know,
hipster.
yeah, he's got
Has,
the
has,
beard.
has he ever been in trouble with the law?
Probably, I probably called the cops on him.
Okay. Has he ever been in jail?
I don't think so.
Okay. And does he come from a rich or poor background or anything in particular?
He came from a rich background.
Rich background. Okay. So he's kind of okay. All right.
Entitled.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he comes wandering over to you guys. And he calls you Abby, yeah?
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay. So as he wanders over, he's like, Abby, here.
Hi, Vern.
So you want to go somewhere? Cafe?
Not particularly.
You
I'm
would-
here to say that I've got you your money back, and I give him the check. And now you can leave me alone. You can
What?
get out of my life now.
What? Come on. I mean, I don't need this.
Like, I'm paying this back.
How did you get the money for this? What have you been doing?
I've been working.
Yeah, what is this? $100,000 worth of working. I mean, it's only been a couple of weeks. How did you make $100,000, Abby, in a couple of weeks? Is this even real?
It is real.
How do I
And
know?
I have a friend that is lending me the money so I can get away from you.
He kind of winces as you say that. Well, I don't want it.
Doesn't matter what you want
He rips it
anymore.
up. I don't see why we can't just be friends. I mean, I don't really know what I did wrong here. I mean, come on, Abby, stop being such a hard ass. I mean, it's not like I did anything to you.
That was your money to get out of my life. Okay? And you just ripped it up.
I don't want you. I don't want you to go, Abby. Why are you doing this? Come on, we had a good time.
It was good until you started hurting me.
Oh, come on, man. You started that whole thing.
I'm gonna go into my purse
Uh-huh.
and I'm gonna like grab onto a pistol I have in my in my handbag.
Okay.
I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna do it. Well, just in case, I'm having my hand on it.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
He's like, come on, let's go and talk about this properly. I mean, come on, there's a bar over there. We can just go and talk about it.
No talking.
Come on, Abby, you need to talk about this. This is not something you can just walk away from, you know? Come on.
I'll take my hand up again. I'll push him. Like, no.
He
I
looks
said no.
shocked and surprised and put out at the fact that you have dared touch him like that. He steps back and looks down at you like, what the fuck are you doing?
I'm gonna walk away.
He follows you, and then he grabs your shoulder and tries to turn you around. And as he does so, Garwood approaches, steps in. Excuse me, sir. This guy's like, Vern turns to him, he's like, fuck off, stranger. You're not any part of this. I dare say that I am, says Garwood. And Vern makes a self-control check, which he succeeds with 2 10s.
Wow. He just chilled out.
And
It's pretty good.
he turns to Garwood and he's like, Mister, I don't know who you are, but you need to fuck off now. This has nothing to do with you. This is not your concern. And he pokes him in the chest. And Garwood looks at you, kind of questioningly, raises an eyebrow. And he turns back to the other guy, to Vern. Turns back to you and he goes, "Can I help you, ma'am?"
Yes, please.
He says, "Now listen, mister. I know who you are. I know your name is Vern. And I know what you've been doing. I'm the man that wrote the check that you just tore up and threw on the ground. Now, my suggestion to you is that you leave this young lady alone and you forget about her for the rest of your life. You never call her, contact her, or ever think about her again. And that you go away and learn some very important life lessons." Let me make a check for Garwood. See how successful he is at his.
Let's go, Garwood.
Ooh.
I said, let's go, Garwood.
Garwood's having a bad day.
Oh my gosh.
For a moment, Vern looks down and then he looks back up again. And he goes, "You know what, mister? I think you should fuck off and get the hell out of my relationship and my life. I don't know what you think you're doing writing checks for Abby here, but she doesn't need that shit. She doesn't need that money, and she certainly doesn't need you twisting her mind against me like this." Do you say anything?
I'm gonna look around to see if there is anyone looking at us.
You can make a perception alertness check, a wits and awareness check, I mean to say.
Okay. 2.
2 successes. There's a couple of people looking in your direction. One of them has a bat type in.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll step in. I'll step in the way and be like, pushing him again. Back off.
Sorry about that, Abby. Seems my powers of persuasion are a little, well, how do you say? Anyway, Vern shoves Garwood. Garwood doesn't move when he shoves him, and Vern seems slightly put out by that. Garwood instead undoes his sleeves and begins to roll them up. And Vern looks at him, he's like, "Oh, you want to have a fist fight here, do you? Is that what you want, mister? I don't know what the hell you're thinking." And he starts to get really wound up. Well, let's see if he does.
The drama.
Oh, this guy has fucking got he's rolling 10s on his self-control today. Vern is like, "You need to get away from me, man. I will call the police. I will have no qualms putting you in jail. I don't know who you think you are, but you don't know anything about me." Garwood's like,
"Can I snuck away a little bit and change? Is there any place I can see where I can get away with
"You
it?"
can walk behind the jelly bean and come out the other side as a different person if you like."
Yep, I'll come out as a cop.
Okay, so you come out dressed as a cop. You still got the type-in, or is the type-in gone?
Type in, but it's I'll put it on my sleeve.
Okay.
Okay.
And Abby, can you make a wits and awareness check, please?
Sure. No.
No. Okay, so you
No.
don't notice the cop, nor do you notice his typing. All right. Very good. Does Vern notice the cop? He does. Vern steps back and he's like, officer, this man is harassing me. He's harassing me and my girlfriend."
Can I help you, sir?
He says, "You need to get this guy away from us. He's harassing us. He's trying to, I don't know. He's threatening me."
He's not.
And your name is?
"My name's Vern, give me a last name. Is it good a last name?
Atwood.
Vern Atwood. My address," he takes out his driver's license and shows it to you. This is who
Wow.
yeah, and I live at blah, 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 blah.
Look, he didn't do anything. Garwood hasn't done
Excuse
anything.
me,
Garwood just folds.
Vern, you say?
Sorry, what was that?
Vern. Ah,
Yeah.
you match the description of someone we're looking for.
That's ridiculous. You must have made a mistake, officer.
I wish it was. I wish it was. I'll just call up the station, shall I, and clear it up for you.
He looks over at you, Abigail, and he says, "We ain't finished, Abigail." And he just storms off.
I look at Garwood and the cop.
Garwood shrugs. He looks
Okay, the cop is going to do the go round the thing again and disappear and follow him.
Okay, so you're going to follow Vern.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so well, Vern basically he's not poor, so he probably has a car or a motorcycle, right? Car?
Whatever you think.
I'm thinking it's a car. I think
Car
it's a
it
cheap
is.
car. It's like it's probably a Japanese car. It's a Honda or I don't know. It might be a Datsun. And it's yellow. And it's got rust in it. And he gets in it. And you're going to follow him. You're going to get in the car with him, or follow the car, or jump on the car, or can't hear you, Barry.
I'm going to get on the car.
On
slowly and quietly. Yeah.
Okay, very good. As you get on the car, Wix, you're going to make a perception alertness check. Or rather a wits and yada yada check. Wits and awareness. Coming up. Here we go. Peter Wicks, 2 successes. You see this motorcade going through the city. A big a white limousine, and some other cars with it traveling through just through the main plaza, through the main center of Chicago, through the loop, basically. And they turn off and head out of sight. But you get on the back, and so you're literally holding on to the back of this guy's car. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. You have 4 points in strength, and you have potence. How much potence do you have? Soaring leap is your particular power at this point. Okay, so we'll make a strength check to see how well you do holding on. This will be strength and athletics. So you got 2 points in athletics, strength. Let's hit this. 3 successes. Okay, so you managed to hold on to the car, and he's driving through the streets, and he sort of, at one point he stops and pulls over, when he gets to a bit of clear road, and he gets out of the car, and he starts walking around the car like he's inspecting it. He's looking at the tires, particularly. He goes back and kicks the tires. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with this thing? Can't hear you. Tap the button.
He's doing that. I will get off carefully and get into the car while he's looking at the tires.
Okay, so we'll make a dex and stealth check for that. Stealth. Do we still have stealth? Is stealth still a thing? Please tell me stealth is still a thing. Thank Christ for that. Dex and stealth, here we go. 3 successes.
Good job.
Okay, you easily get into the back of the car. It's unlocked. And then he drives off. And he goes to this high-rise apartment. It's only 3 floors high. And he parks around the side, gets out. I assume you get out with him. Okay, we'll make another dex and stealth check just to see, because I mean, closing doors can be a problem.
Yep. I'll wait for him to go first, so he's heading towards the front door, and then I'll get out when he's got his back to me.
Right, 2 successes. All right. he looks around when he hears the second door close, but he shrugs and just walks inside. He uses a beeper to get in through the front door, goes into the foyer, checks the little mailbox with a little key, uses a passcode to get through the next set of doors, gets in the lift, goes up to the third floor.
I follow him.
Takes out the key as he goes down the hallway.
I'll give him some lessons in stalking.
Okay, and a Hispanic lady comes out of her door, which is in the apartment next to his apartment, with a small dog. In fact, 3 small dogs on leashes. And she looks at him, and the dogs growl at him. They growl generally. They may even be growling at you. You're not sure, but the woman interprets it as they're growling at him. Anyway, he goes into the apartment. And in the apartment, he's got like a big computer gaming rig with like a steering wheel and a chair and such, and all of this sort of simulation shit, because he's apparently into that. I just decided. And he's got this massive device that he then goes and starts filling it up with a bag of weed. And it starts cooking it, and it fills up this huge plastic bag with weed smoke. And then he starts sucking on that and boots up his computer. And while his computer's booting and he's sucking on that, he leaves it for a minute, goes over to the kitchen, takes out some shitty microwave meal, pops it in the microwave, and starts microwaving some lasagna from a packet. Checks his phone. Do anything else? What are you doing while you're here? He's doing all of the stuff. You want me to just keep going with this?
Just keep watching him.
Keep watching him. Okay. He turns on the TV, turns it back off again. Apparently nothing on. He starts chatting to his internet friends. He starts messaging a number of girls on some dating site. 2 of them that he's playing off against each other at the same time right now. There's probably a third, 3 or 4 others that are on the sort of next tier down on his list of priorities. He goes back over some old addresses and stuff that he has for Absynth. Abigail, what's your last name, Abigail?
Sinclair.
Sinclair. So Abigail Sinclair, he does some snooping on her. Oh my fucking god. He
Did he get 10s again?
rolled another 2 10s and an 8.
Jesus.
Investigation. It turns out he has a friend who is an actual cop. And this guy, he calls up this guy, and this guy, is kind of breathing heavily over the phone. You can hear the guy on the other end breathing heavily over the phone. He's like, "Yeah, I found some stuff on her today. I got a license plate for you, man. She's driving. And she's got a car, right? I'm assuming. No. Yes. No.
I don't know. I don't see her with one. I
Don't
can
see her with
imagine it's public transport. It's just so much more convenient.
Okay. What could he find out about you with 2 10s and an 8?
I mean, like, I work with the police now, so
Yeah. Yeah. All right. He says
he could have gotten Garwood's car.
Right. The police wouldn't have that though. This guy's a cop. What could he could have found out that you are now on an intern list at the toxicology department with the Chicago PD.
Yep.
I think that's pretty much what it has to be. So he tells Vern this. Okay, Barry. Okay.
Yep.
And that takes a couple of hours for all of this to happen while Peter Wicks is doing that. What does Abigail do in the meantime? You're there with Garwood Marshall still at the Jelly Bean.
I thought.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you were going to make things better.
Well, yeah, it was my first attempt. I have to admit, I haven't done such a bad job on something like that for quite a while. I wasn't really ready for the talk back from that guy. He really has it in for you, huh?
Yeah.
You happen to have his address? Do you know where he lives?
I know where he lived when I was with him,
Okay.
but I don't know if it's the same. We could go and find out.
All right. Well,
I
should we go for a drive?
look, I don't know.
You can stay here. Tell you what, I'll go and sort this out.
I don't
Listen, you just don't want to ever hear from this guy again, right? That's your basic problem.
I don't think that you can do this. You weren't able to do it before and you made it so much worse, Garwood.
Don't worry. Anything that has happened here can be fixed. This is not a big problem. Believe me, I got a few other tricks up my sleeve. And the thing is, the major problem that we have right here is this is a public place. That means that anything I do, well, I have to respect certain rules and obligations while we're in the public place.
Garwood will get a text now.
Okay.
At his place, this is the address.
Okay. Okay, that might take a couple of minutes because you've got to drive all the way there whilst they're still standing at the Jelly Bean. Well, why don't we go and have a coffee or something? Well, you can have a coffee. I can watch you drink coffee.
I need something right now.
Or something stronger than coffee. I don't care.
Something stronger.
Okay.
Don't worry, I bring my own. I'll just make my coffee Irish.
Right. Are you carrying a small bottle of something on you, are you?
I'll probably always have some alcohol on me in a little flask.
A little flask.
I
Okay.
imagine that's going to change eventually. It'll be poison in a little flask,
I see.
or blood. You know,
Or
we'll get to
several
that.
little flasks.
Yeah.
Might be a little doctor's bag.
Yeah.
Who knows? Okay. Well, okay. So you wind up going to a bar, and sitting down and having some food or what have you. I'm going to assume because you are a human, after all. And Garwood does get the text. Well, it looks like he's at this address, and he tells you the address. 1 to 5, it's the old address, and 6 to 10, it's a new one. It's the old address. It's where he used to live a while ago.
Wow, things don't change with him.
Yeah, it seems to be that way, huh?
I also text, he's got a cop on the case.
Ooh. He shows you the message. Now, I'm assuming that what he's talking about is he's got a cop working for him or with him or something. Garwood's going to text you back, Barry, Peter. The text says, "Can you talk?"
No.
Okay. He says, "Text me back or call me when you can talk."
Okay.
He texts you again. He says, "Shall I come round?"
The more the merrier.
All right. Okay.
He needs milk.
He needs milk. So let me get this clear with you, Abby. You just want this guy out of your life, right? That's the main thing.
I really do.
Right.
And I was going to try different methods. And I show him like the gun in my bag.
Oh, look, that's a little too extreme. You don't need to do that. I mean, for God's sake, I could just drink the guy.
You could.
Although I'm guessing he's probably going to taste quite bad.
Now that I'm working closely with chemicals and stuff, I was gonna try and come up with something so that I don't get caught.
Something. So you want to kill this guy?
It was out of desperation.
Well, I mean,
And
thing
looking at you tonight, like I didn't know if you were going to be able to pull it off.
well, look, right now, all I can say is I'm a little bit embarrassed. My influence wasn't quite as I don't know. Perhaps the moon is in the 8th house of Aquarius right now, and there's any number of reasons. Let's not get into that. But there are other things that we can do. Now, I really need to find my stat blocks.
Find godaddies
Yes, yes, indeed.
stuff. Yeah.
Um, do, 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 do. I actually bought it from drive-through role-playing games, so I can just download it again, actually. Drive-through RPG. Log in.
So did you end up talking with Brennan?
I haven't had a chance to talk to Brennan yet. I'm going to do that tonight. A little later. You have
Cool.
any particular, anything in particular you are especially interested in hearing about?
What do you mean?
Well, what do you mean?
Oh, well, it's not that I don't like him because Brennan is, he's kind of a big thing in my life right now. And the more I drink that drink, the more my feelings get. But I've spent a lot of time with you and I'm enjoying the time. Maybe eventually you'll be able to help me with my ex problem. I don't expect you to, but you've done a lot for me.
Got the book.
Good.
Okay. Well.
Also, I really like your music. Your band's pretty awesome.
Baby Chorus, yeah, not a bad band. We're doing pretty well. Been around for a while now. You know, we're kind of getting a little bit famous here in Chicago. There's been write-ups and reviews and things. It's we're doing good. Our causes a couple of problems, but you know, overall, I think everyone's kind of letting it slide. Seems to be okay. So you want to go and visit this guy? Let's finish this.
When you say finish this, what do you mean?
Well, you're already talking about finishing it, right?
Well, there's another way.
No.
One without killing him.
Well, we don't have to kill him. In fact, you're probably safer to not kill him with me and Mr. Wicks around than by yourself. In fact, interesting idea. Come on, let's go for a drive.
All right.
Yeah, you get in the car and you start driving, heading over there. Okay. And Wicks, you're still at the house. And this guy's got a couple of old photographs and things of what's her name, Abigail, and he does unspeakable things with them.
Buffalo Bill.
Yep. And you're
This
like,
is officer.
how long is this going to take?
Yeah.
And then he gets back to his racing game. And
Okay.
yep,
You know,
you get a
you know
text
how
message.
he's using a thing to take his drugs.
Yeah. It's like it's called a volcano.
Yeah, I couldn't remember.
It's a new thing.
Okay, we used to call it something else, but I
This
can't
is
remember
a
what it is.
like specialized machine that does this.
Okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool. So, um, can you put another thing into it?
As long as you can burn it, yeah.
So you can put another drug into it, can't you?
You could. You wouldn't have a lot of control over it. You wouldn't be able to control the amount very easily. And it would
So it
become
could give somebody an overdose.
easily an overdose if they had too much of anything in there. But and a lot of these types of drugs probably are not really inhalable. I don't know.
Okay.
What are you thinking about?
I was thinking of giving him a drug overdose, and that way he would not be a problem and nobody would look it up because it's just a guy with a drug overdose.
Right. Well, the thing is, seems to be only ingesting basically pretty low grade, low quality weed by the looks of it.
No, it wouldn't add up then. Nothing bigger than a, yeah.
He doesn't
Okay.
have like he's not doing heroin or cocaine or fucking meth or anything.
Something like that. Yeah, no, okay. I'll leave it. Leave it.
All right. You get a message to say these guys are coming, and you continue watching this dude until they basically are now approaching. And you and Garwood are now walking up through the building. Well, you get to the front door actually. So tell me about the security here. You live next
Uh,
door, right?
yeah, yeah.
Why didn't you tell them that we're at the door?
Because
He'll open it for you.
okay, I'll do it. I
Excellent.
don't feel comfortable doing this.
He looks at you and he says, "Look at me. Look at me. Relax."
Roll your dice. I'm sure it's fine. Well, I'm a mortal still. I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna roll some dice anyway for my own sake.
Is it like a rouse check or something? I don't know.
Well, it's a V2 stat block, so how to do that?
Sure, it's just presence or.
This is dominate. He does have presence too, so he can.
Oh right, that's right. Dominate.
Actually, yeah, good point.
I think we should stick to stick to getting this right. Okay, so compel. It's free. It's charisma and dominate. Oh, wait, what? Oh yeah, charisma and dominate versus intelligence and resolve.
Right. So charisma is 4, dominate is 3, so he's got 7 dice.
Versus mine.
Versus your intelligence and resolve. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dice.
Okay. How do I do this? Intelligence and resolve. Okay.
Well, I get 2 10s and no other successes.
Well, we equal up then because I've got 4. So you wait. Yeah, you have 4 successes. I have 4 successes.
Okay.
But you're the one acting it, doing the action, so
Right.
like it should win over, right?
Right. I would think so.
Hmm.
Meet or beat, perhaps, like D&D.
Makes sense to me.
Makes sense to you. Okay. Very well. So he tells you to relax. He sort of says it casually. And so you press the button, do you?
Yep.
Okay. So Wix,
Calmly.
you hear the buzzer on the comms go, and he gets up off the chair, puts the game on. He's like, fuck, god damn it, because it's a multiplayer game. There's people racing past me. He parks his car on the side of the track, gets up, goes over to the thing, mutes the game with a remote control, and presses the button on the comms. Who is it?
It's me.
I knew you'd come around. What the fuck? Are you what do you want? You coming in?
Yeah, let me in.
Are you by yourself? You didn't bring
Yes.
that fucking guy with you, did you?
Yes. No.
Give me like a persuasion check. Charisma and
I'm so relaxed. I don't know what I'm saying.
charisma
Um,
persuasion. Is there a persuasion
yeah.
here? Yeah.
Oh, this is not a good step for me. Oh, one.
One success. Okay.
So relaxed right now.
Okay, Wix. You see him. He's like, okay, I'm going to let you up, and he opens the gate remotely, and gives you the instructions on how to get up to the third floor and what the numbers are, blah blah blah. And then after she's left the comms, Peter, you see him look around the room, and you see he goes over to a drawer, goes into the knife drawer and straightens up some knives in the knife drawer. He looks around the house and he goes into the bedroom and he opens an old drawer and finds some old nunchucks from inside one of the drawers. And he gets the nunchucks, picks them up, and stuffs them down the back of his pants inside of his jacket, puts on his jacket, and then he straightens himself up quickly and does his hair. Gives himself a bit of a face wash and washes his hands as the doorbell goes. And he's like, fuck, and he's shaking off water and brushing his hands off, and then he goes to the door, opens the door, and you're standing there. Garwood's just standing just out of the door frame at that point. And he's like, well, I thought you'd come around.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Just ignore the other guy. I don't know what I was thinking. Can I come in?
He opens his arms to you like he wants to have a hug or something.
I'll go forward.
Okay, and as you do that, Garwood just pushes his way through. Well. And this guy's like, oh, fuck, I knew this was a goddamn trap.
It's okay. Don't worry.
Garwood pushes the door shut.
Still relaxing.
He's still relaxing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Everything's fine.
Garwood,
I'll take a seat.
Garwood turns to him and says, now you sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up, he says to the guy. And he gets 3
Please
successes.
work.
3 successes this time.
Good.
And Thingo tries to resist, but he gets 10 but 2 1s and a 2, so he fails. And so now Vern is sitting down on the couch on the sofa, and he reaches for a packet of cigarettes, and he never used to be a smoker, but apparently he is now. And he opens up the packet of cigarettes and he's shaking as he takes a cigarette out. He doesn't seem to be able to light it.
It's okay, Vern. It's okay. Just relax.
Who the fuck is this guy, and why are you hanging around with him, and why did he try to pay me off $100,000?
I was paying you off so you wouldn't come and hassle me anymore.
I couldn't even find you, for God's sake. Didn't I tell you to shut the fuck up? He says, Garwood. And Garwood sits down across from him. He says, okay, now we're going to have a little conversation. Do you like music? I'm a big fan of music. I like jazz. You got any jazz here? What's that stereo got over there? You got some CDs, I see. Garwood stands up and walks over to the CD player and the rack of CDs. Pulls out a CD. Metallica. Not a big fan. He throws it at the wall. What's this one? Aerosmith. Yeah, one or two of their tracks are okay, but largely on the whole, I think it's a bunch of commercial wank. He throws that at the wall. He starts going through his CDs, and basically he criticizes every one of them as he goes through them, and smashes each CD as he gets to it. Oh, you got a tape in here. This must be something real precious to you. Nobody keeps audio tapes anymore, and not unless it's something especially hard to find or get. He pops the stereo, the thing opens up, and he takes the tape out. What the fuck? Who the hell is this? And it's some other obscure band. You probably know who it is because it's something that's You know, some kind of childhood favorite of Vern's. Oh, I guess you're not going to be needing this anymore. And he starts pulling the tape out of the tape thing itself. And Vern's sitting there shaking and freaking out. So, Mr. What's your name again? Vern something? And he throws the tape on the coffee table. Thing is, your friend here, Abigail, she doesn't really want you following her around anymore. You understand? Yeah. Okay, well, I wasn't anyway, so what the fuck? She called me, man. She called me and said, "Why don't we meet up at the park?" It wasn't my fucking idea. Yeah, well, that might be so, but I just want to make absolutely sure that we're clear. You're not going to follow her around anymore, and there's not going to be any of that kind of harassment nonsense going on. And there's a small matter of recompense. Well, what do you mean recompense? And Garwood turns to you, Abigail. What do you think is fair?
Oh, I think the $100,000, you know, just making a square. In my opinion, that would be fair to me.
Well, I kind of do need that the money. It's not that I don't need it. It's just I was kind of rash. You know, I didn't like the idea of this guy just fucking paying for you. You know, just that's like you know, that's like my job. You know, no, Mr. Vern, that's not your job. Not anymore. Your job is to stay the fuck out of everybody's lives now. And Garwood looks around like he's looking for somebody. And Wixie sort of glances around the room. I wonder where
he gets a text.
Okay. Just a moment, please. And he picks up his phone. Checks the text. What does it say?
Nunchucks behind his back.
Garwood nods. So, you're planning on clobbering me, are you? No. I wouldn't think about it. So, if I was to search you, you wouldn't happen to have a pair of nunchucks hiding up your ass? What the fuck, man? No, God, fuck. Why don't you stand up? He says to him, and he stands up. Now, why don't you take your jacket off? And he starts taking his jacket off, kind of against his will. Turn around, and lo and behold, there's indeed a pair of nunchucks sticking out of the back of his pants.
Wow, that's
Wow.
not cool, Vern.
Well,
Nunchucks?
it's just like protection, man. I didn't know if you were going to bring somebody up here, and anyway, you did. You goddamn did. I mean, I knew it. I had a hunch you were going to try this, and I was right.
Oh, okay, right. You should have been worried. You should have been worried about me and the gun I have in my my bag.
Oh fuck!
I was so like, I was really contemplating shooting you.
Garwood chuckles to himself. You don't want to do that.
I'll put it back in my bag. And I'll be like, I'll look into his eyes and be like, forget what I said.
Now, do you know you can do this at this
No, I'm just like, I'm probably not like wanting to. It's just more like because I feel kind of high.
I feel that you need instruction from Brennan to do that.
Okay. I'm not gonna get any of that because he doesn't talk to me.
But Garwood, once you figure out that you've got, maybe Garwood can teach it to you.
Okay.
Anyway,
Gun.
in fact, you know, Garwood says, you know what? He says, Abigail, tell him to forget. Tell him. Look at him right in the eyes and tell him to forget. All right, so you can make a check to see if you can do it.
Okay. Let me just figure out how to do that. Cloud memory.
There are days when Peter just
Charisma
loves his
and dominate.
job.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. Okay, wait, charisma. No, that's not right. How do we do this? Oh yeah, here we go. No, that's a rouse check. Oh my god.
God.
I have to set this up. One sec.
That's a failed rouse check.
Yeah, ignore that. Where? How?
What is the rule?
How?
What are
You
the
know
rules?
what? I have my own dice here. I'll use them.
Yep.
I mean, at least I get to use my own dice. It's 2.
2. Okay.
Yes. Versus his wits and resolve.
What's in resolve?
It's a lot of dice. I'm so scared.
Well, it was 4 dice because he's got 3 wits and 1 resolve.
Right.
And he rolled 3 2s and a 1, so he totally forgets. And he's like, "Huh."
Put the gun back.
He's like, "What the fuck's going on, man? Fuck, I must be high." Oh, he rubs his eyes like,
Did
"What
I
are you guys
ruin your work, Garwood? What?
fuck you let this guy in here for, man? This guy, you got to get out of my apartment."
You let him in, you idiot.
No way, I wouldn't let this guy in. I met him earlier tonight. I remember now. I met him down at the bean thing down at the park with you. You were there. Fuck, you guys got to get out of here, especially you. Points at Garwood. Garwood's, he chuckles again. He goes, "You know what I think? I think what you need to do is drink something. I'm going to make you a little drink." He gets up and he goes to the kitchen and he pops out a cup. "Why don't you drink Coke, is it? Lots of Coca-Cola here, I see. And maybe a little whiskey." He said, "Don't you touch my goddamn whiskey, man. Just leave my shit alone." He pops the whiskey and pours him a whiskey and Coke. And then facing you so that you can see him, he just takes a knife from the knife drawer, from the knife block, and he sticks it in his wrist. Oh, he licks it off. The guy's like, "What the fuck are you doing, man?" And he squirts some into the drink. He licks it and he shows you the wound just goes. And Vern is like, "What the fuck is going on here? What the hell? What the fuck are you people doing?" Abby, did you see that? Are you
I
you know
saw
about this
that.
shit? What are
Yeah.
you guys doing? And Garwood
Just relax.
goes, "Drink this now," looking straight at him. 6, 7 dice. Okay, so that's 3 successes, and it's versus 4, I think. He reluctantly takes it, and Garwood just says, "You drink it now. That's right, drink it up, drink all of it." Glug, 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 glug. Ah, that's much better, isn't it? And as he's doing that, Garwood also awes everybody in the room. "See how much better that is now? You like it, don't you? You really like that. Great idea. Yeah, you drink it all up. Now we're all going to be friends."
Well, yeah, we're already friends, Garwood.
Good, good.
Hopefully forever.
Wonder where that Wix has gotten to. He's still snooping around somewhere. Garwood gets up. He goes, "Why don't you have a chat to our new friend while I go and look out for my close associate?"
Okay.
Garwood gets up and goes to the bathroom and opens his phone. It's one of those flip phones from the late 20th century. Why is my picture frozen? God damn it. That didn't fix it. Oh, wow, it's frozen over here too. Whoa. Okay, hang on. No, that didn't fix it.
It's so funny.
Last resort.
Do the face, Barry. Do
face.
Russell's. Do Russell's face.
No, don't do my face.
Do it.
Here we go.
Oh.
Ha ha. All right. So Wix, he's gone into the bathroom and he texts you. He's like, in fact, he doesn't text you. He just takes the phone out and he holds it up and looks in the mirror and he pretends to be on the phone. He's like, Mr. Wix, are you there, Mr. Wix? Why don't
I
you?
make my way to the bathroom.
All right. And when do you close the door when you go in, or what?
Yeah.
Guy was like, you seen all this?
Absolutely.
What do you think we should do?
Well, you could make him yours.
Well, I just gave him some blood, so he is one of mine.
And
So,
if you
I
keep
don't
him
know, is he going to be worth keeping around? I mean, maybe you should make him into one of yours.
no, he's not my type.
Well, do you think he's doing anybody a public service, keeping him alive?
I think he's going to keep on hounding her. I mean, he's got a cop on the payroll.
Well, we can sort that out.
Yeah.
We are going to an awful lot of trouble for this human. I'm beginning to wonder why.
Come on, you must have a reason.
Well, curiosity was my opening line, but now it's gone well beyond that. I've done this particular mortal a number of favors now, and I'm starting to think that somebody's influencing me.
Hey, it ain't me. That's your department, not mine.
Well, I got a favor to ask you, Mr. Wicks.
Okay, go.
Keep an eye on me. Make sure I'm not going too far with all of this. I seem to be under some kind of compulsion.
Really?
That's all I can put it down to be honest with you. I mean, I meet mortals all the time, and we get hundreds of fans, baby chorus, and all of that. It's not like I don't have a whole bunch of choices. And she is smarter than most of them, to be fair. But and she's got interests that kind of have some crossovers with our clan boundaries. But it's not exactly as if she's some kind of perfect fit or anything. It's I don't know. There's something here. You got any thoughts about that?
Have you spent any time with somebody who would do what you do?
Well, I happen to come from a whole clan of people that do that kind of thing.
Yeah, but do they do it to you regularly?
Oh, fuck, I would say so. Just at a wild guess.
Yeah. Okay.
What I'm interested in is if you can keep an eye out to see whether you notice any signs of it, because, maybe that'll help me understand what this compulsion exactly is. And then perhaps if I can get some evidence of it, then I can take it back to somebody in my clan and say, hey, why are you influencing me? And maybe they got a good reason. I don't know. But right now I'm feeling like I've had some agency taken away somehow.
It couldn't be just because you like the girl.
Could be that. Could just be that.
But I'll do you that favor. I'll keep an eye on you.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
After all, it's what I do.
Right. The other thing that comes up in this matter is that the fact of the matter is that we're talking about the Succubus Club here, and that once that place gets involved, I've noticed that over the years, a lot of people get a bit weird around that place. Who knows? Can't say for sure. But anyway, there's a lot of elders going there, a lot of people from lots of different clans, travelers, vampires from other places, that kind of thing.
Yeah, true.
Who knows?
Has he... has the fact that Chase and the gang have got their suspicions about the succubus club been put in the reports?
That's a great question. Has it been put in the reports? Is up to you, really.
I would say no.
Take a moment to talk about it to Mercy slash Belladonna out of character.
I don't think so.
I'm with you on that one. Yeah.
All right. So that means that Peter doesn't know anything about those suspicions, yeah?
Unless we've come forward with it, but I don't think that we really shared with Mercy and Peter because they were kind of coupled together,
Right.
and
Right.
no one could really trust Mercy.
Right. Fair enough. Sorry, Wix is kind of, he's a Nosferatu to begin with, so anything you say regarding anything that could be confidential could
goes back home.
go back home, exactly, and it's sort of taken for granted that it would.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Very well then. You know nothing. Nothing. You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Haven't
Okay.
watched that far.
Meanwhile,
Anyway.
Abigail and Vern
And Vern.
living room.
How is that?
Yeah, that's pretty good, man. Like, wow, I don't know what he did with that, but that's amazing. Like, I never had it like that before. Fuck. Really
So you're
good.
gonna leave me alone?
Yeah, well, I guess so. I'll leave you. I don't, whatever. You're your own person. You do whatever you want, man. I mean, I don't care anymore. Just take the money, man. I don't care. I can figure it out.
Thank you.
Okay.
I hope you mean that.
Yeah, I mean that. And I hope you and that guy, what's his face? He hasn't even told me his fucking name. What is that guy's name? Has he got a name?
Of course he's got a name. He'll tell you it if he feels like it.
Whatever. I hope you guys work out and go off and do whatever. And, what are you even doing now? I heard you got a new job down at.
Yeah, I'm not telling you that.
Well, I found out. So there. I already know. You got a new job. And I hope it works out for you because, I heard you working at that club in town, and I went in there a couple of times, but they wouldn't let me upstairs. So, but I heard you working upstairs down there too, huh?
I do.
Must be doing okay. Cool. Well, look, if you got nothing else to do with me, then you guys can just piss off now. I got other things to do.
I'll stand up.
It's been nice knowing you.
It's been nice. No, it hasn't. I'll just turn around and walk out.
Okay. And you guys in the bathroom will hear her walk out. And then you hear the door on the bathroom knock a couple of times.
Okay, I'll tell Garwood I'll stay with him for a little while to make sure that he actually is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very well. And Garwood opens the door and he goes, "Well, looks like our friends left the building, huh?" And he says to Vern, "Now you are going to stay the hell out of her life from now on. However, here's my card. And if you see anything weird or suspicious, you give me a call. You're going to give me a call once a month, and we're going to have a little meeting from now on. Once a month. All right?" And Vern nods in agreement. Okay, I'm going to put that in my calendar now. And Vern goes over and starts adding that date into his calendar and adds the phone number and writes down the details. And he goes out of his way to make sure that he's going to remember this. And he circles it with a box, red pen. And Garwood's left by now. It's just you there, Wix. And then, everything kind of goes back to normal. He goes back to doing his games and whatever single guys that work on forklifts do when they get home from work. Video games, TV, porn.
All right, I'll leave him to it then.
All right. So you leave, you head out. Okay. Well, Abigail, you go downstairs, and Garwood's car is still parked up on the street. And Garwood comes out a few minutes later. I don't know what you do in those couple of minutes, but once you get to the street.
I'll wait there
Okay.
by his car.
Very well. Then he comes downstairs and walks out, and oh, you're still there.
I am.
Good, good.
You did it. Well, I think you did it. We'll have to see.
Well,
if he keeps texting me.
You have changed your number, right? I mean, that would be the easiest way to have fixed this whole problem. You could have just changed your goddamn number, right? Blocked him.
If I do, he ends up finding out.
Oh, that'd be because of his cop friend, right?
Just keeps it was never ending.
Wix, the guy would take his phone out again, and he texts you Wix. He says, "Get the cop's name and badge number if you can. Track him down. Let's get him out of the loop."
All right.
He says, "If you can get me the details of his name, I can get him shifted departments."
Okay. Okay, he writes.
All right. Very good.
He stays there then. He doesn't go.
Okay.
If that came before he left.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll make a intelligence and investigation check for Wix.
Yep.
Intelligence, investigation, 3 successes. Okay, no problem. You find the name, and you get his name, his email address, his phone number, his physical address.
Jesus.
Because back in these days, everybody keeps like a piece of a pad next to the telephone, next to the landline in the house.
Yeah. I did that.
And so you're able to basically, you can either do rubbings of the paper, or you can copy the details, or take a photo of it.
I always carry a little pad with me.
Okay, so you just write all this stuff down.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you leave.
Yeah. Thanks, Garwood.
All right. What do you say?
Done.
Great. He just sends TY for thank you.
So, Garwood.
Yeah.
I've got some time tonight.
Oh.
Do you want to come over?
To your place?
For a nightcap? Seems appropriate.
Well, we could do that, or we could go to a little jazz club that I happen to own.
You own a jazz club?
Well, yes, I do.
All right, let's go.
All right. So he drives you to his little jazz club. Does it have a name in the book? It is mentioned, but it... Fuck it. I'll find it.
Russell Google's jazz club names.
Oh my God, there's some interesting names. It is called... Oh, wait. There's pictures too. Hoo-hoo. The Winters Jazz Club.
Nice.
Just a short walk from Navy Pier, Chicago's newest jazz club, and it's been refurbished based on was once upon a time an old jazz club. that has been repurchased and redone up in much the style of its original 1920s, 30s predecessor.
I like that. That's cool.
And so when you go in there, there's a lot of people standing around wearing, ye oldie styley clothing.
I'm gonna lean into Garwood and be like, I am underdressed for this.
That is probably true. We can fix you up right away. He says, well, let's come and check out the cloakroom.
What?
Says to the lady in the...
We gotta take other people's clothes.
Just don't worry, they're not going to miss them. Besides, we can go to the green room, and we got a bunch of costumes back there you can probably try on.
Okay. Make me look like a flapper.
So it takes you back behind the scenes to the green room, and there's a whole bunch of costumes and things, and fur coats and fur hats, and all the flapper stuff, etc.
I'm after like emerald greens and blacks.
Emerald greens.
Yeah. Or like that sort of toxic green.
All right. Do you want to do a wits and investigation check for me? The more successes you get, the closer to your required, desired look you can achieve.
Just two. That's my dice. That's just my dice. Yeah.
Okay, I think you figured out what you want, but you're not sure that you can actually achieve it, not tonight. But now you've got a vision in your head for what you do want to achieve.
Okay, right.
But you do kind of dress up to the point where you don't look out of place, at least. And you go in and listen to a bunch of jazz for a few hours, I assume.
Yes.
Okay, and while you're there, so Wix, what do you do after you leave?
Find out all about this policeman, detective.
Okay, his name is Wayne Unser, and he's a deputy.
He's a deputy.
Yeah.
Is he connected to Loden's lot?
Not directly, but he works for the Chicago the police department. So yes, in the long sense, yes, he is not to be interfered with per se. But that's why Garwood said that he could get him shifted on departments. But you're assuming that when Garwood says that, he's meaning he's going to go to Loden and ask for a favor.
Yeah.
So yeah. And you find out where Wayne Unser lives.
Yeah.
You got a few details about him. Can you give me some details about how you or who you go to for research on him?
I go to the computer whiz himself.
Right. Well, I was going to say your phone rings because you missed your appointment.
Yeah. I'm literally going to him anyway, but
right.
I'll answer the phone.
Is that Mr. Wicks? You can hear music playing in the background, and this
yes,
sounds
it is.
Cutlery.
Yes, it is.
I am sitting at the River Cafe waiting for you right now, and I've been here for 35 minutes.
I'm on my way. I have something that you might find interesting.
Oh, well, I hope so, because I was in the middle of a major merger.
Oh, sorry.
Very well.
I am truly sorry about that.
Very well. We'll see how things go. By the way, did you bring the cash, or are we looking at some other means of remuneration?
We're looking at some other means of remuneration.
Very well, then. I'll see you shortly.
Okay.
Clickety, click, click, click.
So he does what he does.
All right.
As fast as he can.
All right. And you get to the River Cafe. How do you appear when you walk in the River Cafe?
I appear as your normal Joe Blogs who's going to have a night at the cafe.
Give me some details here, please. What does a normal Joe Blogs look like? There's no such thing as normal. Normal is a medical tool.
Well, I'm pretty... Well, no, I'm not really. Okay, so He's got a white suit on,
Okay.
nice shoes, and a polar neck
Okay.
on. And he's got a watch and all the accoutrements that would go with somebody about to stop at a cafe and have a coffee.
Okay. So, I mean, does he have a hat? Does he have long hair, short hair? Does he look
He
rec-
has blonde hair because that's easy because he used to have blonde hair. It's nicely tied back.
Okay.
And he has well, Capone would like it. He has one of those kind of hats.
Okay. So he's wearing like a
I can't say the word. One of those hats you pull down. Untouchables.
I'm thinking
that
of a
kind of thing.
Stetson, but Stetson is a cowboy hat.
Yeah, it's a cowboy hat. It's perturber or I can't say the word.
I'll let this thing fuck off, please.
Fedora. I think it's called
A fedora.
Yeah.
Fedora. Yes. Okay. So he's wearing a fedora.
Yeah.
Okay. So you look like a hipster. All right. But that's before hipsters existed. So there you go. Okay. So you walk into this place, and Bobby Weatherbottom looks up, and he looks back down at his laptop, which he's furiously typing away on right now. He's got a headpiece in his ear, and he's got his phone next to him, and he's typing away on his laptop.
Mr. Weatherbottom.
He looks up. Don't disturb me. I'm busy.
Peter Wicks.
Oh, Mr. Wicks. I see. He looks you up and down. You have changed. Amazing.
Yes.
So, now, what were we talking about again?
I'm looking for, well, someone almost as talented as yourself.
Yeah, well, that's not going to happen. There's nobody as talented as me at this, so we can see what else we can find. How about you? I'll tell you another option is that you just hire me.
No, there are personal things I'd like my Ghoul to know that I wouldn't like anybody else to know.
I see. Well, look, look, I tell you what I can do. Why don't we set up a job interview situation and we let people apply for the job.
All right.
And then you can choose from the people that apply to the job. And you can spend some money on advertising the position so that you can get it as far and as wide as possible. You could advertise in Chicago, you can advertise Illinois, you can advertise nationally or even in the worldwide scene if you want. There's a number of new websites online that help people find these kinds of opportunities. He recommends a number of them. And he says, what we can do is we can set up he says, how about you come and sit over here next to me? He turns the laptop around.
He does.
Shows you what he's doing, and basically he sets up like a job interview thing where people can send in their resumes for a very highly paid position working for a specialist corporation doing internet technology and information technology for a security company in Chicago. And he says, how does that look to you?
That looks fine, thank you.
All right, now what we just have to do is sit back and wait and see who applies.
All right, thank you.
Okay, now you can expect this to probably take a couple of weeks or even months before you find the right person, but it's on its way, okay?
Yes.
All right, is that everything we're going to do tonight? Got anything else you want to add?
I just thought you might like to know that there is a deputy,
Uh-huh.
a Chicago deputy, who is being put to work by this gentleman here.
Put to work by who?
Yes, this gentleman, and he gives him the name and address of her boyfriend,
Okay.
her former boyfriend.
Now, so you're being put to work by, you're talking about a mortal is working with him or what?
a mortal is using him to find out things for him.
So we're talking about private favors.
Yes, yes.
Right. So a mortal asking another mortal cop for private favors, it doesn't really come underneath any kind of particular legal situation or even law of Loden right now, to be honest with you. Not unless that person happened to be a vampire or working for a vampire, in which case then it would begin to matter.
Would you be able to, if you're allowed, tell me all you know about this gentleman?
The cop?
Yeah.
Oh, let's look up some files. Well, he's not exactly the perfect cop. He's been suspended 3 times. He got away with literally murder at one point. Here, I see his files been covered up. He's got some whole sections redacted from his history. His dad was a cop. Mother died when he was 14. Went to such and such school. When he gives you his whole history, basically.
Yeah.
And the short story is he's not a terrible cop, but he's definitely not a good cop. And he met her boyfriend a couple of years ago, maybe at like high school or something like that. They went to high school together, and that's how they're friends.
Okay. So
he's literally just doing a favor for this guy because he asked him to really nicely, and there's nothing more to it than that.
Okay, so it's nice and simple. It's not complicated.
Nope.
Good. He's just making sure, just dotting the
crossing the I's and dotting the T's.
Yep. Okay. Pretty much.
Very well, Abigail. Jazz evening winds up after a few hours. You are introduced to a number of local singers and jazz bands and what have you. And Garwood introduces you as a close personal friend. And you are treated somewhat like royalty while you're there.
This is a weird feeling.
He says, it's a shame you're not the person I met when I first walked into the Succubus Club. I could have offered you a job here.
I would have loved it here.
You probably would have. Who knows? But then again, the way I see it, you were more of a kind of a gothy, kind of edgy kind of character. I thought maybe jazz might have been a little bit too light for you.
Well, it is, but it's nice, and I could grow to like it.
Sure. Why not?
Try and understand it somehow. It's deep.
Some of the ladies and gents come over to the table where you guys are sitting, and one of them, this black lady, she says, Mr. Marshall, can I talk to you for a minute? And he says, sure, why don't you sit down, Leanne? And she comes and sits down with her friend, and she says, she reaches out, she's got these white gloves on her hands and one of those caps with a little bonnet at the front. And she's wearing a like a black veil down to the front, down to where her nose is. And she says, "Are you still doing them seances that you used to do back in a few years back? I remember you did that very excellent seance with us, and we were contacting our poor deceased granddaddy." And he says, "Yeah, I don't really do seances anymore. That was kind of party tricks." Oh, no, that was no party trick. We really did talk to him. We know he said things that you couldn't possibly have known about. Well, it's not something that I really like to advertise. I don't want this getting out. No, we won't tell nobody. This is between you and me. We won't let on to nobody else. We don't want to interfere in your personal business or nothing, make you do something you don't want to do. Listen, I'm not sure I can do that kind of thing anymore. I've kind of moved on to more specific, specialized areas. Oh, I see, Mr. Marshall. Well, we could pay you. Oh, yeah. I'm not sure.
Hey, girls, I think that he's not actually interested, so
she looks
you
over.
don't have to keep hounding him.
She says, who exactly is this, Mr. Marshall? Oh, this is my friend Abigail. She's we've been working together. She's a business associate of mine. Well, I'm sorry to hear that you don't do that kind of work anymore. You really were the best at it. We never found anybody quite as good as you. I do feel bad for you, Missy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to recommend somebody. Now, down over on the south side, there's a place. He says, maybe I can find a card for it or something. Anyhow, there's a lady there named, we call her Auntie Jazz. Now, if you can find Auntie Jazz, she's the one who's going to do you the best seance of your lives. Okay? She's got real contact with the other side. I don't have the kind of contact anymore. I kind of burned my bridges. What do you mean you burned your bridges? Well, let's just say I took some irrevocable steps that can't be taken back. And let's just say the other side, they don't really want to contact me anymore. Oh, you turned to Satan? He says, well, not exactly turned to Satan, but let's just say he's watching over my shoulder, keeping an eye on things. And this lady sort of sits back and stands up. Well, I'm very sorry to hear that, Mr. Marshall. I'm very sorry to hear that. I'm very sad to hear that you had turned to Satan. Well, as I said, I didn't exactly turn to Satan, okay? It's not like that. She's like, I'm very disappointed, Mr. Marshall, very disappointed. You imagine what your great-granddaddy would say? I knew your great-granddaddy when he was alive. And she starts ranting about all of the shit. And Mr. Garwood's like, oh, God, here we go again.
Hey.
It's okay, Abigail. They just need to calm down. You don't have to get involved.
Okay.
Eventually, they piss
I
off.
can't believe. Why did you say that to them? Obviously, that was going to stir them up. You did it because of that reason, didn't you?
I kind of enjoyed that, to be fair. It was the most fun I had all night. Besides your ex-boyfriend, of course, that was fun too. I was terribly disappointed and frankly embarrassed when I couldn't manage to get my commands to work on him when we were standing down at the park. It was a bit of a botch, I'm afraid.
I was a little worried about that coming back to bite
You
me
know
in
what
the
I'm thinking? I'm
ass.
thinking that fucking great big jelly bean with all the reflections on it was somehow throwing me off.
Right.
So there's a lesson in that. Whenever you try to use your powers, dominate, you don't want to use them next to big, shiny, reflective objects like that that are likely to change the circumstances in some way. It's an unnatural object. You know what? I'm going to petition the damn city council to take that thing down.
Maybe you should petition them to make it matte so it's not so reflective.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that.
No, they're not.
All around that premise.
They won't even take it away, Garwood.
I'm gonna text Garwood if I can.
Yep. What do you say?
Got the information. When do you want it?
He says, I'm at the blah 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 jazz club. Why don't you come around?
Okie dokie. Literally, okie dokie.
Looks like Wix has got some information on that cop that we were, the one that has been tracking you down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's on his way here now.
Okay.
So,
Can I ask something more about the whole condition you have?
Sure you can. You can ask. I can't say I'm going to answer it, but you can ask.
Like, I really want to know what it's like to be drunk from.
You want to know what it's like?
Yeah. But, like, please don't kill me. Please don't kill me.
Please don't
Seriously, please don't kill me. It would be so annoying.
Let me just say that there is a very small chance of that. But there is a chance. You see, the thing is, and he looks at you directly, he says, the thing is, whenever a vampire drinks on a human, there's this hunger, this beast that rises up inside of the vampire. And one has to be very careful not to let that beast take over and control the thirst, the hunger. It's intoxicating. And it's you have to be very conscious while you're doing it. Otherwise, it would be very easy to just let go. That being said, it's not much more difficult than, say, for example, bouncing a ball. You got to concentrate. If you stop concentrating, you can lose the ball. Drop it.
Right.
You know what I'm
Should
saying?
I, like, if I'm just looking around at, like, at the surfaces to see if there's any reflective ones, due to the fact that he got distracted by
Right.
the bean. So,
Right. So he claims.
yeah.
There are a number of shiny surfaces, mirrors and glasses and water that's spilled on tables. And
Are you sure that you're not going to be distracted if you...
we're not going to do this here. I would never do this in public.
Oh. Forgive me, I really, like, I've been hanging out at the VIP lounge and they just go at it.
Oh yeah, that's a very specific place. The security in that place is ridiculous. It's off the charts ridiculous. Like that whole room has been sanctioned for that particular purpose. A lot of vampires go there. The Succubus Club is a feeding ground. This, however, hardly anybody even knows about this place. Most of the people that come here are they're kind of jazz aficionados. You know, no vampires come here. They're not interested. Once in a while, there's a couple. I mean, we get a couple of toreadors in here from time to time, but always when I'm throwing some kind of jazz party in particular, I send them invites. But there's not really many occasions for kindred to come wandering down here. Well, that being said, Mr. Wicks is on his way here now. And Wicks, you can enter whenever you feel it's reasonable to have taken the time to get there.
I had to stop and feed.
Okay, so you're feeding on the way. Very
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Okay.
And now this time I'm just wearing I watch people go in first to see what's appropriate.
Well, what you were wearing to Bobby Weatherbottom's
I'll wear that then.
actually pretty
If
appropriate.
yeah, if it fits the occasion, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay.
And I'll wear the bat thing on
The bat type in?
Yeah.
Okay. All right then. Very good. So he says to you, no. We'll wait till a little bit later after this meeting and see how things go. I don't want to risk anything right now. It's not a good time for that.
Okay.
All right. Well,
I'm also, I'm creating a cream that will hopefully protect ghouls from vampires. I'm not wearing it right now, just to let you know I'm not wearing it, but it has to be done. We've got to protect the workers. So
right. Well, that's a cool idea. That's a mighty cool idea. You just keep working on that. I need to make a phone call. So why don't you stay here for a few minutes?
This isn't because I mentioned it, right?
No, I'm going to call your employer.
Okay.
Mr. Thornhill. I got some questions for him.
Tell him I say hi.
Oh, I will.
Okay, thank you.
And he takes his phone out and he gets up and goes behind the bar and into the staff-only area. And disappears, and a waitress comes and offers you a drink.
Oh, thank you. Absinthe would be nice.
She gets you an absinthe, and that's happening.
Wicks, getting fucked up.
You may come in at any point.
Do I see
her? Yeah, you see her. You also see a couple of black ladies heading for her table.
Okay, I will go over to the table.
Okay, and as you're approaching, these two ladies cut you off, and one of them sits down in front of you, Abigail. Excuse me, ma'am. We didn't much find out what your name was when we were talking before to Mr. Marshall, but it appears to us that you might be a good friend of his, and I was just wondering if there was anything we could do to help persuade him to assist us with our contact with the other side. I mean, he mentioned that this Annie Jazz and what have you, whatnot, but we don't know her. We know Mr. Marshall, and we would really like Mr. Marshall to perform our seance for us.
You're not doing this for the purpose of talking to the other side, are you? You want to get closer to Garwood. Isn't
I,
that right?
I do
I-
object to your
I can
acid.
see why. You know he's well endowed. You just know it. I've been drinking a bit.
She looks really
Peter-
offended. She looks
Peter never
really-
gets bored with the school, I'll tell you.
She, in fact, she drops her drink and it smashes on the floor.
Oh.
I do object. How dare you suggest such a thing? Who are you to come into this club? I've been here every week for the last 5 years. I never heard anything so ridiculous in my life.
It's cute, and if you want to
Cute.
spend more time with
Cute.
him, you should ask him.
It's
Don't
not that
come
we
up
want to
to
spend more
me.
time with him. We want to talk to our dead papa.
Well, then, if you want to do that, you will follow his advice.
We don't know who this anti-jazz is. We know Mr. Marshall has done this for us before, and he was a most excellent, what do you call that? He's a medium.
He's already told you that he can't do it anymore. So, listen to what he has to say. No means no.
Do you want to make a charisma and persuasion
Jesus.
check?
Sure. I have to like pronunciate everything properly so they'd listen to me. One each. Two.
2 successes. All right. Very well. I suppose there's no convincing you. I guess we just have to take no for no. It's all right. We'll go and find this anti-jazz. We'll look her up. We'll see how things go with her. But I hope she's good.
Well, Garwood said that she is.
That's true. And then Garwood recommended her. We really should be satisfied with that. Yes, but Garwood has self-confessed that he has now taken sides with the devil.
So you would rather convert what's the word? Cohort? Is that the word? No. You know what?
Consort.
I'm gonna consort. So you would rather consort with the devil rather than someone that hasn't been?
No.
Listen to your
You
own
don't
words here.
understand, little lady. You don't understand at all. And she takes out from inside of her purse this Bible and puts it on the table in front of you. I won't go so far as to say that she thumps it down, but she puts it on the table in front of you. She says, "We plan to convert him and save his soul. We are very worried about Mr. Marshall. We have seen his soul is in peril. Now, for a long time, he has been in peril. And we want to save him and rescue him from the fires of hell."
Well,
You must have seen it yourself. You've seen the devil in Mr. Marshall. He has changed over the years. He is not the person that he was.
that might be the case, but I don't think your Bible is going to help him any.
Oh, she looks livid. And why do you say that? You a heathen, ma'am? Tell me you go to church.
I stand up. No, I don't go to church. And I will never go to church. I don't believe in this. Your bullshit. And
That's
I
it.
just
We
like
ain't gonna
throw
stay
the
here
book
talking
at
to
her.
this woman. She
Take
takes
your
her-
Bible and leave.
She takes her Bible, and you can make another persuasion check, please. Or would you like to make an intimidation check?
Intimidation's probably actually the this. Yeah,
Alright.
intimidation's better for absinthe.
Okay, so intimidation and charisma.
Nope, that's not how. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Just one.
Just one. Well, one of them sneers at you, not particularly afraid. The other one also sneers at you, not particularly afraid. But she said, "Well, I do believe this conversation has come to a crashing halt, and we ain't getting nowhere with you. We're gonna pray for your soul too, Miss whoever you are. You got a name, ma'am?"
You can call me Satan.
Oh, that's very funny indeed, very funny indeed. Garwood comes wandering out from behind the bar.
I'll take a seat again.
You see, of course, Peter has been standing here the whole time.
Oh, hey, don't forget Matthew 7.
Looks around at you. She's, we won't forget Ezekiel 25:17. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper. She looks at Garwood. And the finder of lost children. She looks at you. She walks off. Pair of them storm out now.
And Absynth is just giggling while drinking her absinthe.
Garwood comes back over and he sits down at the table smiling. Oh, Mr. Wicks, you're back again.
Yes.
Looks like you walked in on a perfect scene right there. You shouldn't pay too much attention to those young ladies. They're distant relatives of mine when I was a human. You might say they were cousins.
Oh, that's probably why they didn't like me mentioning your...
You what?
I'm sorry.
I've entirely given you way too much alcohol to drink, miss.
Yeah, a little.
Well, I talked to your employer, by the way. But before we get to that, Mr. Wicks, how's things going? You've been to a lot of trouble for me this evening. Thank you so much.
Here's the information, Mr. Garwood.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wicks. You have really gone above and beyond the call of duty, and I must say I do appreciate the work that you do. You and your clan are to be recommended, commended.
Vice versa.
Well, I don't know about that. But you're welcome here anytime.
Thank you. Good music.
So, what do you think about this cop anyway? We need to do
Oh,
anything
I
about
don't
him?
think he'll cause much trouble.
He could have a little accident, you know, that could be something that could happen.
I don't even think he needs to have that, but if he were to, if he does become a problem, you know who he's connected to if he's a cop from here.
Yeah, we got to be careful about that, actually.
Yeah, I know.
Certain rules and regulations about playing with the police.
That's right.
You see, Miss Abigail, what's her last name again?
Sinclair?
Sinclair, Abigail Sinclair. You see, Miss Sinclair, one of the things about our kind is we have a kind of hierarchy, right? There's some of us, like me and Peter Wicks here, we're like we're kind of like in the middle, isn't that right, Mr. Wicks? You know, we're kind of like
we're very much in the middle.
kind of towards the
and
top of the middle, but not definitely not the bottom of the middle, and definitely
I'm the bottom, right?
Oh, you are less than the bottom. You're not even a vampire. You're like even lower than that, I'm afraid to say.
Wow.
But the thing, what you got is you got friends. You got me and Mr. Wicks here. See, that's what you've got. That's the cards that you have to play.
I'm glad. I'm so happy to have you guys in my life.
Well,
That remains to be seen.
not everybody has that opportunity, right? So, anyhow, this cop's not going to be any more of a problem to you, and I think that your ex-boyfriend is going to leave you alone now too. Would you have that feeling too, Mr. Wicks?
I had the feeling, but I'll check in on him occasionally.
Yeah, I asked him to meet with me in a month's time, and we'll have another little conversation, make sure that everything's just going fine. He's a kind of what I like to call disposable ghoul. The kind of ghoul that you make for a month or two and see if he becomes useful. If he ain't useful, well, I'm not going to stop feeding him and let him go his own way.
What am I?
Oh, well, you. That remains to be seen, Miss Sinclair. That does remain to be seen. And so you see, the thing is, Miss Sinclair, if you want to make yourself useful to the likes of me, you're going to have to do a lot of work. And I'm not saying that to piss you off. I'm saying that because it's true. There's a lot of work involved being Mr. Garwood Marshall's retainer. That's if you even wanted that job.
Wait, you want me to be your retainer?
Well, the thing is, I talked to Mr. Brennan Thornhill, and well, the overall impression I have is that you're way too smart for that job. And he knows it, you know it, I know it. And you're not going to last in that position for too long.
And now I know it.
One of the things is that you already pissed off Miss Annabelle Triabel, and
Yeah.
you got a black mark against your name as it already is. And Mr. Thornhill, you really can't have that.
Okay. So you're rescuing me once again?
I wouldn't go so far as rescuing you. I'm fishing you out of the pond for later use.
Well, there's something I have to ask actually.
Yeah.
I'll try and sober up a little. Hold on.
You want to make a constitution saving throw?
Oh, what now?
Exactly. What would this be? I guess this is a stamina and probably. Oh, we can't really. It could be.
What was the
resolve? You can choose between a stamina check and a resolve check. But it's just a straight check with no other.
Okay.
Dice.
Stamina or resolve?
Yeah. If it's stamina, it will be for the
Nope. It's just my resolve.
Okay, you're still pretty drunk.
Right, well that didn't work. Well, what I was gonna say, I think.
Yeah.
I think the police force isn't for me. I want to do science and I want a lab. I want to have my own chemicals so I can make my own.
Sounds like she fits with you like a glove.
I want to make poisons.
Pharmaceuticals is what you're talking.
Right? Yeah.
I work in pharmaceuticals. You perhaps you need a chemist shop like a
I
pharmacy,
want
like that, or maybe you need to get into a bio lab.
Yeah. There wasn't enough for me there.
Right. Yeah, they're pretty starved for resources down there at toxicology, as far as I can tell.
Plus, I don't want them to watch me while I'm doing what I want to do.
You're gonna do that, that's for sure.
And I could help you. I could make these things for you.
And what exactly do you think I need?
Do you have a lot of enemies?
No.
I'm sure you will.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's nice to hear, isn't it?
I mean, you've already made an enemy of actually my boyfriend for some reason, my ex-boyfriend. You guys have gotten on after all of that, which is kind of weird. But anyway, yeah, I can work on a lot of things. I have a degree in science.
Well, you see, my expertise, Miss Sinclair, it's not exactly science, at least not in the modern sense of the word. It's you might consider alchemy might come into it.
Alchemy. Now that's an interesting one.
Well, and as far as you scientists are concerned, it's pretty much defunct, debunked, and old news. But let me inform you that that is not entirely the case, especially when you go around mixing vampire blood into the mixture. There's also the concept of, psychological alchemy is a whole other thing, too. The idea that you can transform the base human soul, which might be considered to be lead, into gold. Gold being the more refined human being. So there's that. But as for mixing chemicals together, I really can't see what the application of that would be to me.
That's the thing. I would love to find out.
Right. Well,
I'd love to see what I can do, like truly do with what you guys have. Without breaking any of your rules or anything.
Can you make a charisma and persuasion check, please? And if you want to, you can spend a willpower point.
Okay, sweet. Well, let's roll first.
3 successes.
Well, I got all successes, so that's all I can do, really.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, you do some research, find out what you need. And if you can find a lab that is secure, available, and somewhere I can get you into, you know, something reasonable, then we'll see what we can do, and I will supply you with the red elixir.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Yep.
And what do you think you're going to be able to get out of this? And
Well,
how am I going to benefit?
that's a good question.
I know.
Just the applications of what you've given me, I'd really have to, I'd have to see what it's capable of, because you were able to, you know, look after your own self.
Well,
You could
it's
heal your
capable of
own skin, and
many things. Yeah, healing applications certainly is
it's
possible.
like it's like your blood is the gold.
Well, maybe it is, but on the other hand, there's a lot of people in our position, as Mr. Wicks can tell you, that believe that what we have been afflicted with is in fact a curse. Every member of our society comes from one bloodline or another, and each of those bloodlines has some kind of a curse.
Especially my lot, so they say. The only ones that beat us are the milk heirs.
And that is debatable. I'd also say that the Ventru have their own especially debilitating curse, but that's another story.
I don't know if we can talk about this here. Why don't we go somewhere else so you can tell me all about the clans? Yeah?
Make another charisma and persuasion check, please.
Okay. Same.
Same.
Yeah. 3.
Funny thing, Mr. Wicks. Now remember Mr. Wicks, you remember the agreement that we made in the bathroom at that guy's house?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you just keep that in mind.
Oh, well.
Thank you very much. I do appreciate your work in this regard. So, all right. Let's go somewhere quiet. Let's go upstairs. And he takes you through to his apartment upstairs above the jazz club. It's all made of red brick, big wide room, open plan, wooden floors, dark colored wooden floors. There's a black curtain that divides the entire room in half, and it's pulled right now to the center. And if you make a perception check, essentially a wits and awareness check, you may or may not notice the chalk circles that are barely visible underneath the bottom of the curtain.
Just go one.
Yeah, you might notice a little bit of that. The smell of wax and candles, smell of incense, this kind of thing.
I'm gonna go drunk girl looking,
He says,
crying.
Miss Sinclair,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
please sit down.
Okay, I'll sit down.
All right.
I really want to look around.
I'm sure you do, but that is not presently on the cards for you. Please sit down.
I've already taken a seat.
All right. Now listen, you are in presently the lair of an actual vampire, and this moment could be considered to be one that should change your life. And you could rewind a little bit and say that your life was changed the minute you walked into the succubus club and you began associating with vampires.
Excuse me, Marshall.
Yeah.
I'm blind and I cannot speak at this moment right now, if you get my meaning.
I do indeed. You must recall that you are in my haven, too. I appreciate that.
Yes, I do, sir.
You see, we got little laws and rules about havens and things, too. We've got 6 traditions. Those 6 traditions, well, let's just put it bluntly and simply, you don't get to kill anybody without any permission from those above you. You don't break the Masquerade. The Masquerade is the single most important thing that we ever have to consider. That is to say, humans must not be aware of our existence. The consequences of breaking the Masquerade are severe. And I mean extremely severe, like you're dead severe. Okay?
Great.
And if a mortal that happens to have information, like, for example, you were to go and tell people about things that you've seen and heard, I would be required to make sure that you were put down.
I think we
also could-
covered that with Brennan.
Yeah, sure you did. All right, well, Mr. Thornhill has agreed to pass your employment over to me. And the truth is, I have done a number of readings, card readings. I use Tarot particularly. I like to use the Rider-Waite deck. It's my favorite deck, although there's a couple others that I like to play with as well. And I keep getting the same damn thing when it comes to you. For some reason, I keep getting the High Priestess, which tells me that you're related to the moon and that we may have some kind of connection, which is very interesting indeed. There's other things to do with that, which you will have to learn in the long run. In any case, for now, I'm offering you a position as my retainer.
So
And
Brandon said it was okay?
he did.
Then yes.
All right. Well, we need to begin the process of transferring that situation. So,
If it helps, I've only drunk from him twice. Well, from the drinks that they've given me.
We discussed that. So we're going to start reversing that process, and you're going to start drinking from me now. And he goes over, he pushes into that other room, the other part of the room through the curtain. And for a moment, you see this blacked out temple in there, and you see a huge black rectangular piece of glass against the wall, surrounded by all kinds of icons and altars stuff and incense and figurines and all sorts of shit, candles and what have you. It's all, there's nothing in there is lit right now. It's totally cold at the moment, but he goes in there and he goes over to the altar, and you see him just grabs this big chalice from in there and brings it out. You see the chalice has got 2 serpents wrapped around the outside of it, imprinted into the pewter itself. It's all kind of delicately carved. And he takes that and he comes and sits down in front of you. Well, this is the chalice, represents the Holy Grail. Holy Grail meaning the blood. And he pops a hole in his wrist and squirts some blood into the chalice and licks the wound.
I've never actually seen it been done.
Well, this is
it's actual blood.
That is actually blood. Actually blood. And this has got nothing else in it, so you are about to experience the raw power of the blood too.
Do you have to say anything, an incantation or a poem?
Well, do you have one in mind?
Well, I like fairy tales. If you want to tell me a fairy tale, thank you. I've taken it. Thank you.
This is not he holds the cup back for a moment while you've got your hands on it. He says, "This is not a fairy tale. This is more akin to a nightmare."
Well,
you want to be
can't be any worse.
Getting into, because this is not a fairy tale.
I understand.
He lets go of the cup and he says, "Be thou Hadit, the flame in every heart of man and the core of every star." And you drink the blood.
Yeah.
Of course, it's fairly potent. Now, Garwood, for your information, if you didn't know, is
Gen 8.
Gen
I
8.
I know that because Absynth was made at Gen 9. So
Right. Right, because you've already made the character.
yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay, so you know exactly how powerful that is. It's pretty fucking powerful, really, for player character level type stuff. Okay.
Wow.
And that leaves you kind of, let's just say, hang on, let me find his stats again. I'll tell you what his disciplines are. Play the holding music.
I can already tell you his main stat is dominate, so things won't change. So
Yes, we know it's dominate, but I'm more interested in describing to you the experience of drinking his blood.
oh, is it a different experience?
Well, it might be more flavored, that is to say. I think that for a few moments after drinking his blood, you have a kind of, because he's got all specs level 2, so you kind of have this heightened sense of awareness immediately after drinking his blood. This might last for a few moments, maybe an hour at the outside. He says to you, when you leave this room and you go downstairs, the next person that you talk to, you need to turn around to them, look them right in the eyes like I'm doing now, and just tell them to forget. You can try that out on the way home. See if it works for you. Test it out on a few people. It's not always going to work, but a good deal of the time it will. And that will give you access to all kinds of things and experiences that you probably never had opportunities to have before. All right?
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so there you are. You've done it. That's the first step. We're going to
Thank
do this
you.
again tomorrow night.
I this is amazing. I can't wait for tomorrow.
Right, right. Now, in the meantime, I got a few things for you to do for me.
How can I help?
Okay, well, first of all, I need you to find a place, an apartment close by.
For you?
No, for you.
Okay.
I need you to be close. I need you to be staying somewhere real close. And you need to be able to get here before sundown. Okay, so tomorrow night, when the sun goes down, you need to be already in the club, or at least waiting at the door, one or the other, I don't care. When I get out of bed, which is going to be about 7:30, you got to be ready to be get going, doing stuff, because we got a whole lot to cover. All right. After that, other things I need you to do is I need you to prepare me 7 wooden stakes.
What is that?
Well, I need a piece of wood about yay long, about yay thick, sharp at one end and blunt at the other.
Oh, right.
I need 7
Like
of them.
One
like
of these.
like a tent peg thing.
Wix pulls one out, right?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Exactly. So I want 7 of those ready when you get here, because we're going to do a little thing. A couple of little things.
Could you teach me some of that? And I'll just like point to the stuff behind the curtain.
We'll be getting to that. That's the next thing. You are
And
going
the
to start with
tarot
we're going to start you off on some good old-fashioned hermetic magic. And this is going to be quite a process because, you see, the thing about being a Tremere, and that's what I am. I'm a Tremere vampire. That's the name of my clan. And the thing about that is that most of the Tremere that I have met have been thrown into the situation, have been made into vampires without any form of training in magic. And in my personal experience, the ones that have not had any previous training have had, well, let's just say they ran into some trouble. they tend to be less humane. They seem to have lost their path. They seem to be completely obsessed with the left-hand path, which is what we call black magic. All right. Also sometimes called thaumaturgy, but and thaumaturgy is very useful, but it's easily abused. And I'm talking about thaumaturgy. I'm talking specifically about blood magic in this case. There are other kinds of thaumaturgy. If you talk to different people who are not vampires, they will consider thaumaturgy to be an entirely different thing. But vampire thaumaturgy is blood magic. That's the main leaning of our powers. But in my personal opinion, to use this effectively and to use this in a way that is not entirely just an abuse of power, spending a few years of training will make a lot of difference. Spending a few years as a mortal. And you understand, like, we go back a few thousand years to the ancient Hebrews, and they have a tradition they call Kabbalah. You might have heard of that. Now, traditionally, you had to be 30 years of age before you could even start learning that shit. How old are you?
Not 30.
Right. So you can imagine how fucked up you can get on 10,000-year-old thaumaturgy.
Right.
Which literally creates supernatural effects in the immediate present, in the material world, without any kind of subjective questions. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so basically you're preparing me. Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, any retainer that I was going to make, that I was going to take seriously, would have to be part of a kind of a longer term plan. I don't just make fucking ghouls for nothing.
Right.
I have to actually like them. I got to see potential in them, and I can see that they have some kind of level of intelligence. So, you know, for now, you are, I suppose, a candidate.
Well, I promise I will make you proud.
Don't make
And
promises you can't keep.
when it comes to studying, like I absorb myself in it.
What is it you got? Is it a master's in science or a doctorate?
Out of game, what's the bitter one? What are they?
Well, the master's is like 5 or 6 years of studying, and a doctorate is like 8, 9 years of studying, something like that.
Okay, well, I think she would have a master's at that point.
Okay.
Because I can imagine she's like mid-20s, so she wouldn't have had that like
Right.
9 years.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. And a doctorate is literally, you are a doctor of philosophy, depending on what subject it is. So you could be a doctor of medicine, but even a doctor of medicine is still a doctorate of philosophy, ultimately. Okay. All right. Well, I think we covered most things here. You got any questions?
I probably have 100 questions, but I'm kind of in shock right now.
Right, right. Oh, yeah, there's one other thing I want you to do. I want you to go and visit this lady. He takes out his notepad. Where the fuck is that? And he takes out his black book, goes through it. Now, write this down.
All right, I'll
You
write
got a
it
pad
down.
there?
Can I use my phone?
You can use whatever you like, but I'm going to be giving you all kinds of instructions all the time, and you're going to need to be able to write them down fast and recall everything I say. You may
Maybe I'll
even want
get
to,
a pad.
and I suggest that you start using some kind of code.
Peter throws one over to you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. I suggest you use some kind of code or something, because if this ever falls into the wrong hands, it could contain a breach of the Masquerade.
All right.
Right. Right. So you're getting the hang of this. Right. Okay. So the name is Miss Andy Jazz. You're going to go visit Andy Jazz tomorrow. You're going to ask her to do a seance for you on behalf of Mr. Garwood Marshall, who she knows because, well, we used to be friends a long time ago. Anyhow, she's going to do a seance for you, and you are going to find out whether you got any spirits in your past, present, or future. That could be any kind of a problem with this path that you are undertaking. I trust Annie Jazz to tell you the truth about these things. She's an extremely good medium. And she'll tell you if there's anything wrong with your aura, if there's anything I need to know. She's going to do a
Sure.
whole report, and you're going to need this. He hands you, opens a case, takes out a bunch of cash. He says, "Give her this, and say hello to Star for me."
Sure.
He
This
dumps
is
it
a
in.
lot of money. Is this how much it costs?
No, it's not how much it costs. It's how much I want to give her.
Oh. Lucky gal.
Well, she's been through a lot of shit, and she and I used to see each other. It was a long time ago. I want to make sure that she's living good and, you know, make sure she's okay.
Have you seen her since?
Yeah, a couple of times, but I try to stay away because I don't want to bring Satan into her life.
Right.
All
That
right.
Satan thing. I
Well,
might have told those girls that I was Satan. Sorry. I was drinking heavily and I thought it'd be funny.
right,
Sorry.
right. Well, here's a new thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to control yourself. Discipline and control are two of the most important aspects of what we do.
Right.
So you might want to knock off the old absinthe.
Okay, I can do that.
Unless you want to channel it into something else. I mean, I don't care what you do, what drugs you do, what drinks you take, etc., as long as you can do your job and as long as you can do it to the best of your ability. All right, and tomorrow we are going to begin a new course, a new program. I'm going to spend this rest of the evening putting it together for you. All right?
Okay. Yeah.
And I suggest you head home and get some sleep because you are going to be busy tomorrow.
Okay, sure. So, okay, so I'm going to go see this woman at nighttime or during
You
the
can see her during
day?
the day.
During the day, okay.
There's a phone number there. You can make an appointment.
Okay. I'm really excited to see her. She sounds so nice.
Yeah, she's a lovely lady, Annie Jazz. All right.
Okay. And I'll head back home.
Okay, you head off. And Peter, do you stay with Garwood or do you follow her or what? Or do you go somewhere else?
I go it.
Yeah.
You
Sweet.
need me for anything?
Oh, I don't know. I have a feeling that I might be choosing well. I'm not sure. She seems to be pretty keen on all of this. Not afraid, anyhow, but that could change. I'm hoping Andy Jazz will scare the shit out of her because everybody needs to be terrified of this. Otherwise, they're coming at it from the wrong angle.
Who's Annie Jazz, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, she's just a medium, I know. Friend of mine. You can track her down if you want. She's not a vampire, nothing like that.
I don't want to scare the lady.
You ever heard rumors about people with true faith?
Yeah.
I have my suspicions that Annie Jazz is kind of like that, but it's not exactly true faith. It's more like she has just a natural affinity with the spirits.
So she's not afraid of us, our kind.
Oh no, she's afraid of our kind. Oh yeah, she has no interest in anything to do with us. That's why she and I are not together. But our friend here, Absynth, well, she's not one of us.
No. I might pay her a visit.
You can do that if you feel the inclination, but she'd be probably asleep by now.
I just thought I'd let you know.
Well, that's fair enough. But you do me one favor. Make sure no harm comes to her. I care a great deal for Miss Annie Jazz.
I promise you no harm will come to her as long as I can stop it.
Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. I do greatly appreciate that. Anything I can do for you in the meantime?
No.
All right. Well, let's call it that. I'll let you go.
Okay.
All right.
See ya.
So you head back to your haven, and
Yep.
Haven.
absinthe, sage absinthe, absinthe.
Uh,
You go home for the night, I assume.
yes.
All right, and you probably have trouble sleeping.
Well, it is. Yeah. Ghoul time.
Yeah.
I've got to sleep at some point. I'll just be in bed being like, come on, go to sleep.
Well, you're having all sorts of sort of leftover emotional floods of emotion that are emotions that are not yours. They're coming from Garwood's blood. And
What are his emotions?
he is a pretty happy-go-lucky kind of guy most of the time, but he does have a very serious side. He has a lot of empathy, like 5 points of empathy, and a very high humanity too. He's got 9 points in humanity. So, given that and his level of performance and what have you, yeah, I mean, he's represents one of the few Tremere that has a really strong humanity aspect, that is fighting to maintain that and has been doing so for a long time. So he's got a very strong what is his self-control? Actually, self-control is not that amazing. Conscience though is very high. Yeah. And I'm thinking that you get an unnatural number of static electric shocks.
What?
Well, he has thaumaturgy weather control.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not a thing in B5.
What the fuck?
But
B5.
interesting.
Well, I'm still going with the static electric shocks.
Okay. What
From his
the hell is
electric
going
personality. Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm not gonna get any sleep for a while, so I will stay up. I'll play with Prince for a little, the frog.
Right.
And then I will do some research online for apartments that are closer.
Okay.
How am I doing?
You can make a wits and investigation check. I'm going to wrap up in like 2 minutes.
Okay. Just the one.
Okay, very well. You find some leads. You're at least doing it. You're thinking about all of the stuff. Wix, you go back to your haven, and as you're pouring your bath and the room is filling with steam, because I'm assuming you have a nightly bath whenever you can, right?
Oh, yes.
He loves that. That's
Yeah.
the one moment of true bliss that he experiences every night if he has the opportunity.
Yeah.
From the steam and through the pipes running along the walls and the steam everywhere, and this hulking figure appears. That is the figure of your sire, Alzabieta.
So creepy.
Ah, child. She hands you the scrubbing brush.
Okay. I take it.
She puts her hand on your shoulder. You have been very busy this evening, my child. Meetings with the Ventru.
Yes.
And you have learned much, I hope.
I've learned things.
Good things, bad things, useful things.
Useful things, perhaps.
Perhaps you'll tell me.
I am trying to create a trust between one of the Tremere and myself.
You have been seen with Mr. Marshall. Is this the one?
Yes.
He is the weakest link. Yes, this is an excellent decision. With him, you will find that you can draw information more easily than any of the others. His sire, the Sable, be careful of. He is a snake.
Well, I've found him to be a very kind and obliging person at the moment.
The Sable or Marshall?
Marshall.
Yes, he is obliging. Yes, he is very kind. Perhaps that is why I say he is the weakest link among the Tremere. If you want to find information, he is a good place to begin. But he is also not entirely trusted by the Tremere himself. He knows very little.
He knows very little.
I am aware that Nikolai has been keeping secrets from him and from his sire. But they all keep secrets from each other, these Tremere, not like us. We share, do we not? We share everything. Everything.
Is there any mystery in the Succubus Club that I should be aware of?
A mystery in the Succubus Club. There are rumors. Be
These
careful,
rumors?
Mr. Wicks. She takes some soap and she begins to massage your scalp, and some of your hair falls out in clumps as she does so. You should be careful in the Succubus Club. There is stories. This is the location of a great battle. Hundreds of years past now, before the city was founded. They say there is a rumor, a very powerful Methuselah was slain on the site of this club.
Was slain.
But I have also heard there is a rumor that there is a succubus, an actual succubus living in the sewers. Is this not ridiculous?
My sire, nothing about the world we live in is ridiculous.
Oh, so much, so many lies abound. There's also stories that there are alligators in the sewers here. There might be. Have you found any ghouls yet, child?
I am in the process of doing as you have told me.
I see. This is what your dealings are with the Ventru.
In a very roundabout way.
I see. Yes. You could approach the professors of the universities directly.
Yes, I realize this.
Yes. And you could search the internet for the names of the greatest hackers that you can find. That is what they call themselves, hackers. A strange term for ones that use these complex electronic abacus.
Yes, it is very complicated. But yes, I will take your learnings into advisement.
And what is Mr. Marshall's interest in his new toy? She's stroking your hair.
I think he has found himself, possibly, a new student.
Ah, a student. Interesting. Is he in love with her?
I do not know. Perhaps it is a possibility, perhaps not. But I will, how you say, fill you in on that exploit some other time.
He has had several of these types of lovers, and ones that have come into his life in the past. He's been warned before by his sire and his sire's sire. But to no avail, he cannot help his heart.
Yes, he cannot, but as you say,
Yes.
I will let you know what comes of it.
Yes, very good. Very good, Mr. Wicks. I do appreciate your candor in these things. Well, I shall see you again, perhaps upon the morrow.
I look forward to it.
Good night, then.
Good night.
And we shall stop there.
Oh my god.
Thank you.
Those two are super cute.